All right, y'all, we are live. It's Wednesday, and it's Buster Unmasked, episode 19. We 19 episodes in, y'all. We got a great show for you today. But before we even get started, look above my head, Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube. Go check out all of our content. Go like all of our content. Go share all of our content. And most of all, subscribe. Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube. Guys, we got a big show today. We got Leigh coming up opening the show. And then we're going to end it off with a interview 10 years in the making. The labeled social deviants are back, and we're going to find out why. But I tell you what, right now, we're going to bring the man himself, the Manitoba Maniac, straight on. We ain't wasting no time. Mr. Leigh. Ray.
Welcome. How you doing, brother?
Thank you, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm making it. Feel great.
That's good, man. That's what life's about. How's life been treating you?
It's been doing good. Like I said, just living life, loving it, trying to wrestle while I can.
Hey, you better get it done, man. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You got to get it in while you can get it in.
Yes, sir.
Like they say, you ain't got but so many bumps on your card, man. So
True that.
You know, after I set this interview up with you, I figured out we got a couple of things in common. First one
What's that,
is,
brother?
well, the first one is Tony Falk had
Yes,
a
sir.
hand in training you. Well, he also had a
Okay.
hand in training me, man.
I hear you.
So that's
And
something we
Uncle
have.
Tony.
There you go. That's something we have in common. Also, my brother Sam Dollar actually managed you earlier in your career.
Yes, he did. Sexy Sam.
There you go, man. Well, let me ask you something. Okay, we know Tony had a hand in training you, so why don't we just start there and go? Let's just go back to the beginning and give us a little origin story on Leigh, the Manitoba Maniac. Tell me how you got into business, man.
All right. Well, I used to play pro softball for the King of the Court, which is a four-man fast pitch softball team, and I been playing pro softball against since 1986, and about 1994, I started going to All-Star Wrestling in Paducah, Kentucky, ran by Tony Falk.
Yes, sir.
And I went to a couple of shows, and one day his brother, Mike Felker, came up and asked if I wanted to get into the business. And I said, sure. So I started June 6, 1994 in Paducah, Kentucky. And the rest is pretty much history. I started out with Tony Falk. I was with him for about 7 months. He turned me over to the man of more knowledge than I ever know, Gypsy Joe, who's dead and gone, God love him. And then he turned me over to, and Gypsy then turned me over to Tracy Smothers, another man who is dead and gone. So I've, like I said, the rest is history. But
There you go. That's a
you know,
perfect example of why you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, huh?
exactly.
I mean, that's you can't ask for no better teachers, man. I know Tony, like I said, he had a hand in training me. I know Tracy. I worked with Tracy some here and there. Gypsy Joe, man, I never got to meet Gypsy Joe. Never. I don't know why. We never crossed paths. Tell me a little bit about Gypsy Joe, man, and his.
Oh, brother, Gypsy was a great man. I met him, like I said, in probably about 90, 95, whatever. He had just gotten back from Japan. And the man is full of knowledge, psychology. He and Tracy, Tony Falk. That's like you said, that's the trifecta of psychology masters right there.
Yeah.
I guess Gypsy is more known as a hardcore deathmatch guy from Japan, but like I said, the man could also wrestle.
Yeah.
Tracy Smothers wasn't much of the hardcore man, but he definitely knew what he was doing in the ring, when to do it, why to do it, and it's rubbed off. I was happy to be in the car with him, to be on in the same locker room with him, and to travel with them. But like I said, a lot of those guys that I started out with, they're dying off, dude, and it's pretty sad right now. Like I said, Tony is about the only one that's still kicking it. So
Yeah, there's a lot of knowledge being lost. I mean, there really is, and some of this knowledge, I don't look. You're getting older. I'm getting older. Other guys like us that some of these guys pass their knowledge on to are getting older. What happens when all the guys who got a little taste of the old school psychology and the old school way of doing things? What happens when everybody's gone, man?
I feel you. That's one of those where, like I said, I've been doing it since '94. I didn't have my first match until 1995, so I didn't even smell or get the steel ring for 1 year during my training.
Ooh,
Nowadays, you get in there, you take a few bumps, you do one show, and you're a pro wrestler.
yeah,
And it's like you said, everybody wants to do spots. Nobody wants to tell a story.
yeah.
They
That
all want to do what they see on Monday Night Raw, on Saturday, and they just it's sad. It really is.
yeah. Hey, we got a comment from Big Mike Gilmore. He said, "Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, Big Mike?
What's happening,
Appreciate you
Mike?
watching, man." We got another couple here before we get started. Uncle Filthy says, "Sweet, I know who that is. I know that's my the LSD boy's main man right there." He also come back and says, love sexy Sam. Kayfabe that dope, baby. Yeah, you right on, man. Cafe, that's Sam's favorite words to yell
I
out
hear
through the
you.
dressing
Yes,
room.
it was. Yes, it
Cafe.
was.
Shit.
Yes, it was.
But yeah, man, psychology, dude. It is becoming, I mean, it's going fast. It really is. I mean, look, the one thing I was taught was, look, you can pretty much do anything in the wrestling business as long as you use logic to put it together.
It's got to make sense.
It's got to make sense. Look, it can be the dumbest shit too. We all know this. It ain't like there ain't
Exactly.
been a million dumbass things that actually got over work in the wrestling business. It's because they figured out a way to put it out there in front of the people, and they use logic with it. Even the dumbest shit, you got to use logic with. Use human
Exactly.
nature, you know. Uh,
Exactly.
so you didn't get to get in the ring for a whole year. You trained for a whole year, and then you finally got to get in the ring.
Yes, and like I said, it was well worth it, and like I said, it paid off. Like I said, because most guys they get in the ring and they have one or two training sessions, which usually now most promotions run once a month, with the exception of like TIWF who run every Saturday. But you know, so they think they do 6 training sessions, which is 6 shows, which is 6 months, but it's only 6 training sessions. So they think that, like I said, they're superstars. But I also blame a lot of the bookers and the promoters who allow them to get in the ring when they're not ready.
That's true. See, I'm like you. They didn't let us in the ring until they thought you was ready. You didn't.
No,
I mean, the only ring you got in the ring to train, but other than that, you didn't get on no live show. You didn't get in the ring
no,
in a real match or anything until
no.
they decided, hey, he's ready.
Yes.
And then if they do you like Jeff did me, uh, he come over and brought my brother the old school K&H catalog where you order your gear out of.
Uh-huh.
Hooked us up with Bill Ash out of Paris, Arkansas, where you used to get, in my opinion, the best boots ever made, or at least some of them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
but you did not get in the ring until you were ready. And nowadays, I feel like a lot of times, even if a guy ain't never had no training, if he can get in there and do a cool flip or something, there's trainers and promoters that are like, well, fuck, let's get him on the show Friday.
Exactly.
Let him do that. When what is that exactly? He can do one fucking flip.
Exactly.
Does he even know how to incorporate that flip to where he gets the most out of that flip when he does it? No, he don't, because he ain't been taught
Exactly.
nothing. And
No.
I'm a firm believer in wrestling is 99% psychology and 1%. Well, it's 99% psychology, 100% politics, and 1% of the moves you can actually do in the ring.
Exactly.
Um,
You
so
have to tell a story. Period.
that's the only wrestling that matters to me, and that's the only wrestling that I can find myself watching is the matches that have a reason. Why am I watching this? Why are they doing this to each other? Why are we in this kind of match? How did we get here? And it's a lost art, man. It's just a lost art, and it's steady dying. I hate
Well,
to go
it's
ahead.
one of those where, like I said, I got in. I was 23 when I started, or I'm sorry, I was 24 when I started in 1994. So I was already getting a late start at the age of 24, if you will.
Yeah,
But it's one of those where I had, like I said, I was trained by a man who knew what he was doing, still knows what he's doing. I miss the man greatly. I talked to LT, his son, quite a bit. But that's another. Like I said, I've been doing this for about 26, 27 years. Uh, LT is younger than me, but he's been in the business about 30 years. You know what I'm saying? He was
yes.
born in the ring, if you will.
Yeah, I
So,
truthfully, I don't know if LT was even if he was alive when I trained. If he was born, he was still a little kid or even a baby at the
exactly.
time.
I've known him and his little sister since they were knee high to grasshoppers, as they say. So I've known them their whole entire life. But like I said, he's got more ring experience than I do. That's kind of sad, you know. But and it's another reason why guys like myself and you, for instance, that we're not completely out of the business because we're afraid to turn it over to these clowns that are in it now, and that's kind of sad. I'm wanting to get out of the business, if you will, as far as in the ring because of my body and my age. But it's hard to do that when this younger generation just will not listen or respect our business.
And here's something I learned over just man, really, I've been learning it since I've been back doing what I'm doing, filming matches and stuff. But I really learned it over the last couple of weeks. Is here's the thing: if you're brought in the business the wrong way, and here's the thing: no matter how good you turned out to be in the ring, but if you're brought in the wrong way, there's nobody that can tell you that was the wrong way. No matter what it is, you cannot tell them that, hey, just because you were brought in that way, don't make it right. You can't tell them that. They're never going to believe it. And the bad thing is now they're bringing more people in like they were brought in or even worse, even less,
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm almost to the point where I'm starting to like trying to impart any knowledge on most people is a waste of time. It's a waste of my time, your time.
Exactly.
Anybody who's trying to do it because, you know, I'm not big on it, but I do suggest certain things to certain people, certain guys. If I see something, I might tell them, hey, you might ought to try this or something, whatever it may be. It could be something even totally different. It could be even politics, how the
Yeah.
wrestling business is. That's another thing, too. You got to know how to play this game behind the scenes. And I look, when I was a wrestler and broke in, I didn't believe in that. I did not wholeheartedly. I was not a politics guy. I
Yeah.
was a go out, do what I was told, and hope it worked out for the best for me. Hope it people seen what I hope they seen in me, you know.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, it is a game. It's like it's chess, man. And I mean, to be successful most of the time, no matter how much talent you got, to really be really successful, you still have to play the politics game. You have to go, even forget politics. You at least have to go after what you want. If there's
You
a certain
do.
match you want, you got to go to promoters and say, "Hey, I want this." And if
You
they
do.
say, "Well, you're not ready or it's not time," well, what do I need to do to prove to y'all that I should get this and go out and do it? It's all politics, man, and there's too much of the we're all brothers, but at the end of the day, every single wrestler out there, even though we're working together as a team to put on a solid show, we're all also out there to do our very best to try to shine more than anybody else. Because you wouldn't be a wrestler if you didn't think that way. You know,
Oh,
you've got to have a
it's like
certain
you
amount of
said.
ego.
It's like you said. I speaking of the, I've had to bite my tongue a lot of times and just keep my mouth shut, like you said, and do pretty much what I was told. Uh, and sometimes the matches have been great, and sometimes it's just been like I was going through the motion because it just really, to me, or even to the guy that I was wrestling, it didn't make sense to us. But somehow the promoter or the booker, that's what they wanted. So I just done my job and went on with it, like you said. But and that's kind of one of the reasons why that I can't get out of the business now is because it's hard to just turn it over to the ones who are coming up.
Yeah,
Uh, they don't want to listen. Even though, and like speaking of kayfabe, uh, or kayfabe, they just there is none anymore, and that's sad. I mean, even though our business is kind of predetermined to a certain extent, we make it as real as we want to make it.
that's right.
So, uh, just get in and tell your story. And these guys who want to get in and just to get their shit in or whatever, come on. You don't need to go 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Get in and tell your 5 minutes, 7 minute, 10 minute story. Because people's attention spans nowadays, there is none. With all the computers and everything,
That's right.
like I said, uh, I've seen a lot of guys just sit in the back and talk about their match, talk about their match, talk about their match. And they get in the ring, and one little mishap happens, and they're clueless. They
That's
have
right.
no clue what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, we got a comment from Danny Ice. He said, "Good evening, gentlemen." What's up, Danny? Thank you for watching, my brother.
What's happening, brother? Love you, my man.
He come back with another and said, "Yes, exactly on what we were just talking about." Uh, that wrestling girl, she said, "Hey, it's my favorite. Love you, Leigh."
Love you too. That's my manager, Samara Rose. As you can see, wearing her shirt. You can
There you
buy her.
go.
Just get a hold of her. Go get her. Get a hold of me. I got
Yeah.
Manitoba Maniac merch too. You
Plug
need
it.
to buy it.
Tell them how to get a hold of you to get some of this Manitoba Maniac merch and the Samoa Rose shirts.
You can get a hold of me here on a YouTube page, Maniac Merch. You can go to my Facebook page, Ray Leigh, Leigh, not Lee. It's Leigh. You'll see me in this hat. So that's the profile picture. My Snapchat is at THE_Maniac 1A. And like I said, we'll hook you right up.
There you go. Y'all heard it, man. Give this man a holler. Get some of his merchandise. Look, so your first match, I'm assuming, was in Paducah?
Yes, it's 1995, about June 6th. It was a tag team, myself and Lone Star against Tony Falk and Gypsy Joe.
Okay,
Uh,
Lone Star. Big, blonde headed dude.
yes,
Eventually
sir.
became one of the Moondogs for a little short
Yes,
stint
sir.
there. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I know Long Star.
Yes,
I know
sir.
Lone Star. So
Yes, sir.
how long did you work for Tony in Paducah before you ventured out onto your next place, man?
Well, I worked for Tony, and that's one thing too. A little bit. Tony wanted you to get out. Tony wanted you to go other places instead of just staying in your own backyard. And that's a lot of problems for people today too. They're comfortable in their own backyard, and then they wonder why nobody knows who they are or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I said, I'm not a superstar by any means, but I got out there because Tony. I had the pleasure of riding in the car with Tony Falk and Gypsy Joe and Tracy Smothers, Tim Ernesto, Bobby Eaton.
There you go.
Guys like that. I mean, my second match ever was against Marty Jannetty in Lone Oak, Kentucky. So,
Yeah,
uh,
man.
a lot of those guys, they're not around anymore as far as either in the business or they're in heaven right now. So, but, get out. Uh, if you got a promoter or a booker that says, hey, you can only work for me, you're in the wrong place, my friend. And I hate to
Yeah.
say that because money is not everything. Money in this
Well,
business is not everything.
and the
Uh,
fact is, most of these local places, it ain't enough money to it ain't enough money to
exactly,
worry about anyway.
exactly.
Tony, you said he wanted you to get out. It's because he knew to be a good
Yeah,
wrestler, you got to work with as many different people at it
yes,
is in as many different places, and it ain't just the guys you work with or the different promotions. It's in every crowd is different. Every
exactly.
wrestling territory, every crowd is a little bit different from the last one you was in front of, and that's how
I
you get
learned
experience.
I learned that pretty quick because, like I said, most of the shows that I started out doing were Tennessee because of Tony Falk. I've worked anywhere and everywhere in Tennessee, I guess you could say, because of Tony or Tracy or Gypsy or whatever.
Yeah,
And then we started venturing out to Evansville, Indiana, to Coliseum Championship Wrestling, thanks to Gypsy and Mike Samples. Got a chance to meet Mike Samples. Like I said, he had just come back from Japan, and and then I started working some in Illinois and doing some shows over there. And it's like you said, what works in the South, as far as Memphis style wrestling, it doesn't really go so well in Illinois and Indiana. So you got to you got to change your game up. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But that goes back to knowing the psychology and learning how to work.
making sense.
Learn to work.
What gets me is nowadays when you see a matched art, and a lot of times these guys, it may be their first match, but the first thing they want to do is start out with kicks and punches instead of, man, lock up, snatch a headlock,
Exactly.
let it set in, do a shoulder tackle, a
Exactly.
step over, a hip toss, something.
Exactly.
Let's get this thing going. Let's create a groove. Let's bring the fans in. When you just start 100 miles an hour out of nowhere, especially when there's nothing before. Like last
Exactly.
week. Now, if you had a reason last week to start with a house of fire, your heels got your baby faces, and your baby faces come storming the ring hot, and it starts as a fight. If the people understand it, that's how it's supposed to be. But
Yes,
I see
sir.
so many matches where people just start off, even a one-off match, and they just start off throwing kicks and punches. I'm like, how do you expect any of these fans to follow this, to invest into that? Because they don't even understand it now. They don't understand why y'all are that mad at each other that you're already kicking and punching, you know?
Exactly. And that's another thing. Not all of your marks or smarks, if you will, they don't speak pro wrestling. So you've got to slow it down so that they can keep up with what you're doing. If you, like you said, if you come in House of Fire and you're just bam, 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 first off, and you're machine gunning somebody, first off, the guy can't sell it. He can only react to it. So give the guy time to sell what you're giving him, and use the crowd. A lot of guys, like you said, they get in there, they scripted their match. They get in there and the marks, as Tracy Smothers said, the marks are all in the locker room nowadays.
That's right.
And that's another reason we've allowed them in there. And then they wonder why, if they go back and they watch their match, they watch their match and they're like, oh, yeah, this match was great. Don't go back and watch yourself. Go back and watch what the crowd's doing.
Exactly.
And you'll notice half of them are playing on their phones or they're looking around or they're going, they're not paying anything to your match because you're too quick for them. You've got to slow down and let them register it.
That's right.
And you got to use the crowd. Don't let them start calling your match. Don't go that way, but listen to them. Listen if they're into it or they're not into it. If they're not into it, you got to pick it up. If they're into it, keep rocking and rolling, doing what you're doing. But if they're sitting there like crickets, take it home or do something different. I mean, but just tell a story and use psychology and make it make sense. Period.
Yeah, a lot of times now, and we talked about this last week on the show, and a lot of guys, I feel like they feel if they get a pop from the crowd, they think they're doing their job and they're and they're accomplishing their goal, which. And look, you can get the crowd to pop for damn near anything if you do it right.
Exactly.
Just because they pop for what you just did does not mean they really give a shit about you or what you're doing, the story you're trying to tell.
Exactly.
Here's something else too. You ain't always got to have the crowd cheering constantly or booing. Some of the best, most enthralling matches are the ones where if you look out in the crowd, a lot of times they're just silent, but they're watching. If you pan the crowd, it's like nail biting. They're into it. They're watching the action. Even if it's a headlock takeover and the guys are just on the mat working the headlock. The fans, when they're doing it right, the fans are in there just eyes glued to it. They ain't making a lot of noise, but if you look, ain't nobody going to the bathroom, ain't nobody going to the concession stand. Everybody's watching. It's not about the pop, man. The pop's easy. It's easy to pop a crowd. It just simply is, and something else I've noticed here recently, talking about guys and girls getting out, I've noticed that there are some people that have really awesome matches with people that they're super comfortable with and they've worked with their whole life. But then when they get in there with somebody they've never worked with before, not so smooth, not so impressive. And that's because they need to get out there and work. You build up wrestling timing by working with 100, 200 different people, different crowds, everything. That's how you kind of learn timing in wrestling and build up your timing. He is a big guy. When I was young, for a big guy, I could move pretty good. So no matter what size the guy, I always tried to time myself off of them.
Yes.
Even if it's a small guy who can move faster than me, I still try to time what I'm doing off of his speed and his pace because I can do it. I mean, it's just something that came natural to me. Made for better matches than having a guy try to time me, which we should be timing each other, But you also have to work with enough different people and enough variety to learn timing in wrestling.
You definitely have to get out of your comfort zone. Like I said, these guys that stay in their own backyards or work for the same person, get out there, guys. I'm telling you, if you want to make it in this business, get out there. I was talking to Blake Christian a couple of Saturdays ago at TIWF, and he hell of a worker. AEW picked him up, but it's one of those where he didn't get the respect or whatever, if you will, until he went to Japan. He went to Japan, he came back, and that's when people started flocking over him.
Yeah.
Just get out of your backyard and go somewhere. That's why the word independent wrestler. You're not under contract by anybody. You've not signed any documents saying, hey, you've got to stay here. Get out. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your shell and do it. You know, if you're going to be in this business, be in this business.
Yep. Look, Danny Ice come back and he said, but I want to get my stuff. I guess it means in here. And I
Uh-huh.
look, here's something else. Here's something that I learned from Moondog early on. Young guy, he put young guys in the ring in Osceola, and they do every fucking move they could possibly do the first match. And he'd come to the back and he'd ask them. He said, "What are you doing out there?" And they don't have no clue. What do you mean? What am I doing? I thought we had a good match. No, he said, "What are you going to do next week now?" He said, "You just
Exactly.
showed them every fucking move you could possibly do in this one match. So next week, what are you going to do for them? What are you going to give them that they didn't get this week?" And
Exactly.
some get it, some don't, man. You know,
This
it's
is a business where you got to tease people. Like you said, if you give them everything that they want, why do I need to come back next week? You know, I'm a big believer on a need to know basis.
yeah,
Uh, you know, if you don't need to know, you don't need to know. And I book a lot that way. And it makes a lot of guys mad because, hey, well, what am I going to do next month? Well, we ain't got through tonight yet. So, you know, let's go from this match here and then we'll go to the next match.
even
But
though even though you might know if everything goes like you want it to, what they might be doing next month, don't tell them because I
exactly.
mean, a lot of times, especially for young guys breaking into business, too much info is too much info. It creates a short circuit. They overthink. Young guys, because I was one of them when I first broke into business. I was a bad overthinker. My when I did my best is when I got told what they wanted out of me, and I went straight out and did it, and didn't have hours and hours to sit there and contemplate that shit in your head and think about
Exactly.
all the things you could do, all the things that could go wrong, all the dumb shit that never really happens. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Open your mind, free your mind up, go out there, do what the booker asked you to do, whether you understand it or not. You know, especially as a young guy starting out, it don't really matter what you think because you don't know what this guy has in his head that's laid all this stuff out. You know, it don't. It just,
You know, just if you're one of the young guys and you're in there with a vet, I was always told, you know, listen to your vet. He's your ring leader.
yes,
You know, I'll do the thinking. You just, you know, you be the puppet, and we'll get through it. I can't stand it when, you know, like I said, I get in there and we lock up or whatever, and the first thing the kids want to do is, well, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You know, stop. Just shut up, listen, walk and talk. It's not a race. That's why they
yes.
call it walk and talk. You know, if you know what you're doing and you know how to work, we're going to make it work. We'll get through it. But, you know, to get in there and to just get your shit in, you know, like you said, what works for some doesn't work other places. You know, that's a fact. I learned that real quick. Moondog was prime example. I learned, besides Tony Falk, I learned how to book, if you will, from Moondog. And why I say that is because he would pull you into the back before your match. There wasn't nobody else except for whoever was, again, need to know basis.
Right.
You know, the locker room didn't need to know everybody's match. You know, and he would, you know, if he trusted you like he did Lone Star myself, as far as we knew what to do in the match, he'd go, okay, y'all do what you want to, but when we get ready to go home, this is how it's going to be. And he had notebooks and notebooks. He could tell you what he did 15 years ago as in a match as far as what
Yes.
the finish was. But like I said, if you didn't make it make sense, he would let you know quick. So, you know, I like again, I keep when we used to book in Evansville, we'd have guys 3 hours before the show already know what they're going to do in their match,
Yeah.
and it changes 500 times. I do their match better than they did from just listening to them change it 900 times. They get out there, and we used to always give them a finish that had nothing to do with their match. In other words, they scripted 92 million arm drags and all that. Well,
Yes.
guess what? The finish is a figure four leg lock. And then I'm sitting there, look, oh, well, we can make that work. No, you can't. No, you can't. You better change your whole match to work the legs before you do the finish for a leg drop, But it just, like I said, there's no psychology anymore. And it's very sad.
Earlier you said talking about these guys, everybody want to work 20-minute matches. Dude, I'd much rather see a killer ass action packed storytelling 5-minute match
Exactly.
as I would a 10 or a 15-minute match that fucking half of it just drug along.
Exactly.
Less is more most of the time.
Amen. You said it right there because, like I said, prime example, you get on TV a lot of times and you've only got 3 minutes, period, from bell to bell. So, a lot of people go, well, God, I only got 3 minutes. Let me tell you something, my friend. You can do a lot of shit in 3 minutes.
Exactly.
That's a fact. And you don't have to do a thing, if you will.
People don't realize how long 60 seconds can be.
Exactly.
In a wrestling ring.
Exactly.
Look, Danny Ice come back and he said, I love the way Ray looks. And look, let's talk about this for a second. We kind of discussed it a few seconds before we went on the air, but a month and a half ago or so, you made a post and you kind of got the judge a book by its cover thing coming at you. Now, that's one thing about wrestling. Wrestling's not a beauty contest. You do not know what someone has done or they know by their appearance. And look, I growed up on wrestlers being wild looking, crazy looking,
exactly,
just out there. So for me, I can see the craziest looking guy, and I don't immediately think, well, he don't know shit. You don't know what that man. You don't know what that man knows.
Exactly.
And you don't judge especially in the wrestling business. Do not judge a book by its cover because it's going to come back and bite you in the ass 99% of the time.
Yes,
it's just the way it is. Well, Ray, this time has flown by. We still got about 8 minutes before our next guest, so we still got a few minutes to chat. But I want you to be sure you get in your upcoming shows, get in the way these promoters can get a hold of you if they want to book you. Plug your merch again. That way people know how to get a hold of you to get merch.
All right.
Do your thing, my brother.
Like I said, this Saturday night, June 3rd in Trenton, Tennessee, 405, I think it's West 1st Street, Trenton, Tennessee for TIWF. We've got Cage Chaos coming up. All matches will be in a 1-ton steel cage. Not this chicken wire stuff or none of this chain metal stuff. This is steel. It does not move. It does not give. All matches will be in the cage. I've been there with Coco Anderson. I've battled with that man on and off throughout my career. So one of us is leaving a winner, and one of us is going to be in a pool of blood. I have a show June 17th. In Paris, Tennessee for Nonstop Wrestling Alliance, Jamie Phillips and JM Knight. Be there or be square. I got the week after that is Huntington, Tennessee for Swag Wrestling. We've got Madman Pondo coming in. Okay. Mickey Knuckles may show up. I do know July 22nd, Shadow WX from Japan is doing his American tour. We've got him at Swag, July 22nd. Like I said, him and Madman Pondo. Pondo just got back from Japan. So get at me at Ray Leigh, Leigh, on Facebook or on Snapchat at THE_Maniac1A. And like I said, by merch and by my valet girls merch, Samara Rose. So we got all you want. Check us out.
Y'all heard it there. Look, Paris, man, the show in Paris. They seem to be drawing some good crowds.
Yes. We've gotten about 200 people or more.
I don't see a lot of the footage. I do see some pictures and a little bit of fan footage, and that's one thing I've noticed that since they started, they seem to have been able to draw a nice crowd every show they have. You know.
Yes, that's one thing why I like working for Jamie Phillips. I worked with him at Old School Wrestling in Hardin, Kentucky. After we shut down at All Star Wrestling and we left Paducah, we lost the building due to the government. It was National Guard Armory, and they sold the building and got out of it. Anyway, it was government. So when we shut down at All Star Wrestling, I went to Old School Wrestling in Hardin, Kentucky, and for Jamie Phillips, the man is a promoting fool. He know if it's his show, he's gonna let you know about it, and that's all he does is talk about it. So he gets the word out. So that's why we have good crowds. In the last couple of months, we've had over 200 people each crowd, and for an independent show, on average, that's a hell of a show.
Yes, yeah, it's a lot of people don't want to get out and put in the work promoting that you
No,
really need to do
he
to,
does.
to give give yourself the best chance to draw better crowds. It's just something you got to do. Look, Ray, we got a comment from Uncle Filthy. He says, "Awesome interview. I'm glad I found your page. Thank you, Uncle Filthy. I know what you're
Appreciate
waiting
it.
on. No, I know you waiting on these
Sure.
labeled social deviants to come up, and they'll be up in just a few minutes." We got another comment from the barbecue man. He says, "Thanks for having Ray Leigh on. I've
Appreciate it.
enjoyed
I
it."
barbecue myself. Lee's Barbecue. Check me out, Future City, Kentucky.
There you go. You heard that, barbecue man. We got two barbecue men on
That's
here.
right.
Both these guys are doing the barbecue. Ray, dude, it's been my pleasure. Look, I'm going to have to bring you back. I feel like we could have talked another hour.
We can do it,
So
brother.
I'll get in contact with you, and we'll get you back on here in the next couple of months, and we'll have a little more time, dude.
I appreciate it, my friend. It's been an honor.
Dude, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on, and you have a good night.
Keep doing what you're doing, my friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You have a
Yes,
good night,
sir.
dude. All right, y'all. You just seen it, Ray Leigh, the Manitoba Maniac. A good conversation. I really enjoyed that. Like I said, we're gonna have to bring him back. Spend a little more time with him. A real knowledgeable guy. A perfect example of don't judge a book by its cover. And look, guys, look above me, Buster H.R. Johnson on YouTube. Go find it. Go like all our content. Go share all our content. Most of all, go subscribe. Guys, look, this next group coming up right now, there's only one of them in the waiting room. But we fixing to bring him on and see what's going on. Look, these guys have, they were one of the most prolific groups in professional wrestling in the mid 2000s. They've been away from wrestling for almost 10 years, but they're back, and we're going to find out why. Without any further ado, I bring to you guys the labeled social deviants. I'm bringing you Idle Bane. We got Cody Only. And as soon as Deadly Dale gets on here, guys, we're going to bring him on too. It's great to have you guys, man. Thank y'all for coming. I can't hear either one of y'all.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us. That better.
Yes, sir. I got both of y'all now.
All right.
Guys, let's kill a few minutes and let Deadly Dale give him a chance to get on here, because I'm really dying to talk to all three of you guys together, man. Hold on. Here he is right now.
He was taking a crap.
There he goes. That's what I hear, man.
All right.
All right, Dale. You was late, man. Bane said you was taking a crap, man.
He had to wipe his butt.
I forgot to hit the enter studio button. I was all ready.
All right, guys, here they are. LSD, the labeled social deviants. We got all three of them. Guys, it's fitting that y'all are just back after all these years gone for the business. And to me, it's almost fate that we're all on here together tonight. I guess it's your first interview back as a group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Together.
Well, look, before we get into the wrestling and really get into LSD, I want to know a little bit about what's been going on with y'all. Now, obviously, Bane I know most about. He's easiest to keep up with. Dale, here and there I can keep up with him, but Cody only. Man, you're like a fucking phantom, dude. So why don't we start with you and tell us what you've been doing all these years, man? Tell us what's been going on in your life.
Oh man. I mean, these past few years, since COVID, I have been out of the game for sure. And before that, I had taken about a 2 to 3 year hiatus from the business. And just been kind of exploring other facets of life. You know what I mean? I spent so many years eat, sleep, breathe wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That kind of taking some weekends off and enjoying spending time with my son and that sort of thing. So it's been a nice little break. And it's strange to be back in there, but it's a good feeling. But yeah, I mean, not much of anything, to tell you the truth, Buster.
Well, look, you said you had kids. I guess we've all had kids since the last time we were around each other. I've had 3. I know Bane's got a son. I know you got a kid, Dale.
Yeah.
Cody, you got a kid. So life's changed a lot since 2006 or 7, huh, guys?
Yeah. Sometimes we
For
got to
sure, look, I got gray hair now.
Dude, look at my mustache, man. I keep it cut off short because the longer it gets, the more gray you see in it. Even in my head, dude. You can't fight
we all
that
got rid
age.
of ponytails too.
There you go, man. Well, look. So we heard a little bit about what's up with Cody and what he's been doing. Dale, you're the next one. You're the next recluse. Tell us what you've been up to, man.
Probably about the same thing. Doing the kid thing and try to do my artwork. It's actually been probably only about 3 years since I was in the ring, but that seemed like an eternity because I was doing other stuff. I got to tag. One thing I never got to do, I tagged with my dad for a little run, mostly in Hoxie. And we'd never tagged. He's been manager. We beat the shit out of each other my whole career. And but we did a little tag run, won the straps there and all that. And but that kind of ended. He started having some problems, and he had to have like a major neck surgery, and he can barely get around now, actually. But he's still kicking. He's still in there. And yeah, man, I've kept up with the business. I follow everybody I was like interested in or I care about or I'm friends with. And hell, I watch it on TV still. Well, I watch clips on YouTube, might catch a pay-per-view here and there, but them 3 years seemed like an eternity. I didn't never know if I was ever going to come back or not. I mean, I wanted to bad, but then again, I'm like, I don't know. The 3 years is a lot, and lots changed, and shit. You get forgotten quick in wrestling. I mean, people's attention spans when it comes to wrestlers, if you're gone for too long, shit, you might as well have not even been there sometimes. But a big part of it, me coming back, was my daughter, last she'd seen me, she was little. I mean, 3 years in kid time is a big deal. She's like fixing to be an official teenager at the end of August. So she's like, she'd always go. My sister would take her and her cousin, which is Cody's son. Well, he would go up there, and my nephew, to the local shows. And then my daughter would always be like, you need to get back to wrestling. I was like, I don't know, maybe. So I made this little comeback, and I kept it all secret. And it was brought her to tears and stuff. About got me on my entrance, man. It was something special. But yeah, man, that's about where I'm at. And then from there, it was like almost instantly the dominoes fell. I mean, like literally the next show for the ASW, FMACW, me and Cody were in the back. We seen Model Bane getting his ass handed to him, so We said, fire up the old music. We made our way out there, cleaned house, dropped with the old fucking dead body drop, and we got a pretty good reaction, man. So that's where we're at the moment.
Yeah, man. When I seen it, I was a little surprised. I kind of knew it was coming when I seen you wrestle. I guess it was in Newport recently.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
match you're
outside
talking
show.
about. Yes,
Mhm.
I just felt it then. I knew for sure that more than likely you and Bane would be back together, and I was wondering about Cody because, like I said, Cody's fucking phantom. It's hard to find out if you
Yeah,
ain't if you ain't in Cody's clique. It's hard to find out anything about Cody whatsoever.
yeah,
You
he's
know.
ghost on social media and stuff, man. He's more underground than me, and I'm a full blown hermit, man.
Well, look, we got a few comments before we get to Bane. Uh, Uncle Filthy said we definitely need more time with the Maniac, and he's right, man. Uncle Filthy's y'all's guy, right?
Oh yeah, he's a LSD member number 4, actually.
There you go. He said
For
you are
life.
about to enter the world of the LSD user, and
Yeah.
I'm all for that, man. Alter my reality, guys. Alter my reality. We got another one from Uncle Filthy. He says, "Holy shit! I like it when Metallica cut their hair. Ha ha ha! I love my dudes."
He's made fun of us. He still got his hair. He's greasy, long hair, just like always.
Um,
over there.
well, Bane, I guess that takes us to you. Now, you're the most easy one to keep up with. You got the highest profile of all the guys. You've you've kind of stepped out on your own and been doing your own thing.
Yeah,
Uh, with Memphis Wrestling, man, how has that been going for you? How did that come about? Because I know when I first started doing this, none of you guys were actually fooling with the business whatsoever. When I first started filming about 3 years ago,
yeah.
none of you guys were actually doing anything with the business. So what brought you back, man? You was the kind of like the first one to come back. So how did it happen?
Yeah. So yeah, I disappeared. I was having some back and neck issues. I'm probably close to 5 years now, and then right afterwards, lost the finger and all that good stuff. So
Hey, I don't mean to laugh, but I've seen y'all joking about it and shit.
9
I've seen
fingers.
I've seen some of the
Right.
some of the stuff on Facebook. So
I mean, you got to use what you got now. I mean, it's gone. It's not growing back. So I'm just going to use it. But right after that, man, I got a good job that was paying my bills and taking up all my damn time. So the wrestling business sort of slipped away, like they said. And then, man, I got my kid's 9 now, and he wanted to see his dad wrestle because he had only seen me when he was 2 or 3 years old, and
yeah,
it was time to come back. MACW and ASWF, they started back up, and the powers that be were, I know them, and it was like, hey, let me come back and help do something. And I was just doing a backstage thing, and then one thing led it to another, and then I came and I'm going to take a couple bumps here and there, and now it seems like it's been full time. And somewhere along the way, Mr. Bradley said something about, hey, I need a heavy for Memphis, and something happened, and here we go, and we're off and running on that end. It's weird. I'm still not used to this. In the ring, I was legitimately popping because 2 of the motherfuckers that have been my best friends, my tag partners, my everything for damn near 20 years of my grown ass life are now back here with me, and it's a good thing to have them back. I didn't know that 3 of us would ever be able to do anything together in this business, so I'm enjoying it.
Man, you know how this business is. Look, dude. All right, we did our thing at Arkansas Championship Wrestling 2006, early 2007. When I quit then, all right, when my wife got pregnant with my first daughter in 2009, me and Ron made a little comeback, and it just, mentally, I wasn't into it. We wrestled, I probably wrestled 2 months, and I just wasn't into it. I had so much on my mind, even though I'm older than you guys. Hell, I was 35 when my first daughter was born, but I think no matter how old you are, you still go through the same mental shit when you're used to only taking care of yourself, your old lady, and no kids or nothing you got to take care of. I mean, it's a mental a mindset that you have to kind of get out of and go into a new one. It's not just you anymore, You got to look out for the whole family now. You got a kid to support, and So I came back in 2009, and like I said, about a couple of months, and I told Ron, I said, man, I'm just done. I'm not into it right now. It just mentally wasn't into it, and I really didn't think I'd be back at all either, guys. And then 2020 maybe, I started actually it started with doing a couple of running for president, some bullshit little things I just throwed out there for no reason. I don't even know why I done them. And then it kind of morphed into going to shows, filming shows, and morphed into where we are now. But I never ever, when I left in 2000, matter of fact, when I left in 2007, I didn't think I'd ever come back. When I left in 2009, I knew I wouldn't come back. But here I am. I'm not in the ring like you guys, but we're still in the business. Man, it's you don't get this business out of your system, man. It's worse than, I mean, it's worse than any drug I've ever done in life. It's more addictive because the one constant, I'm like Dale, even when I'm out of the business, I was constantly thinking the business, watching the business, keeping up with it. The mind never quit working, you know. Look, let me ask you guys this then. After all these years, all this time, why now? What was the catalyst to bring all three of you guys back at the same time right now?
Well, I'll go. From my perspective, it just kind of like the fucking stars just happen to align the right way or something. You know, I pushed myself, like you said, about mental stuff, man. It goes for everything too. Like when you change your perception, having kids and all that, but just even when you get out, for me personally, it was like I could have went back any time. I could get booked. You know, I'm not trying to sound like a big superstar, even though I am. You know, but but I always had people blowing me up and stuff, and I'd just be like, I couldn't say no or yes. I'd be like, I'm not ready yet, because I got that feeling like you had of I wasn't feeling it like mentally, you know. And I'd always heard if you ain't having fun or feeling it, man, you need to kind of step back a little bit. But it was just real hard for me to get my shit back together to actually take that first step and do it. And of course, I wanted to do it for myself. I instead I want to do it for my kid and my nephew, my kids. I call them all my kids, but I got one kid. But yeah, of course, you're doing it for yourself too, because, like you said, man, that wrestling, once you're in it, man, it is like drugs or whatever. It's like you might be clean, but you're always a recovering addict. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then whenever I did that show, I kept it real quiet. Only a few people knew the Newport show outside, so I wanted to surprise people. And it was like instantly after my match, it was just like the dominoes started falling, like I said earlier, and fucking dots connected, calls are made, and within a night, maybe the shit was already the ball was rolling. The ball was starting to roll back.
That's how it is in this business. You go from nothing to 90 in the blink of an eye. You know?
Yes.
Well, look, you guys, are you guys all lifelong friends since y'all were kids, or how long have y'all been? I know y'all been running tight since before 2006. So, you know, that's how I found you guys then, was y'all were already running together and stuff. So how long have you guys actually known each other and been friends?
Well, Dell
yeah.
Deadly and I have known each other basically all our lives. We weren't necessarily really friends till like high school or something, but we both grew up in Pocahontas, Arkansas. He's a grade above me in school, so we always knew who each other was and would be friendly. But it wasn't until about 10th grade, whenever I got the bagpipe report, started sending my email address, and we connected over wrestling, that that we became friends, and then we started training and with the same people, and then we just started. You know, it was an obvious thing. Let's go together and let's do our thing. And then this guy down here, he showed up about 2 or 3 years later. Some kid that had been watching us in the crowd since we started, and was what we call our super fan, and with the dry erase boards and all that stuff, we were breaking over people's heads. I was sort of out of it for a few months at that point when he started. He randomly came to my house at one night. Was like, "Hey, I'm doing my first show," and all that. And I ended up trying to get booked on it too, and I did. And both of these guys were here, and I mean, they met that night, and we just took off and became friends, and made one adventure after another for the next 15 years or something. And then we met Buster, and then he gave us a name that we got a little notoriety with.
Hey, dude, it wasn't just me. I remember it being a lot of collaboration. I remember, if we're going to talk about it, let's just talk about it. 2006. Look, I'd had the idea of LSD in my head forever. And it's the type of gimmick. Here's the thing about gimmicks, about ideas. You can put them on the first motherfuckers that show up and maybe waste them. Or you can keep them and just hold on to them until the right guys show up that you think, hey, these are the guys for this. And so I'd had LSD in my head didn't have which none of us had a name for it, if y'all all remember. I just asked y'all, hey, what do y'all think about being called LSD? And then y'all told me that, hey, y'all had actually done a gimmick called THC. Yeah. And in my head, I thought, well, fuck, that's fate right there. I mean, obviously, LSD would be the next logical step from THC.
It's a gateway drug, like they say, you know.
THC included Uncle Filthy there too, so.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've got you three guys, and obviously Dale. Now, my first idea was for LSD. Like I said, I had the idea. And then when I approached you guys with it, and y'all liked it, and then y'all told me about THC, and we decided, well, look, you know, I remember asking you guys in dressing room, do you want to run with it? I said, we're going to have to think of something that LSD stands for that is real, though. It's got to have we've got to have a real meaning, not just the drugs. You know what I mean? The drugs is just kind of the playoff point, and we all kind of agreed, yeah, let's throw it out there and let's run with it, and. Man, from the first night, if I'm remembering right, the people took to it immediately. It wasn't like y'all had already been there working a few shows.
Yeah.
As Deadly Dale, Idle Bane, Cody had been there working, and y'all were kind of all separated at that time. And well, actually, I think you and Dale, Bane and Dale, y'all were actually affiliated, wasn't you?
Yeah,
we were tagging. Yeah,
that's right. Y'all were doing some tagging, and
they were going to be the first. They were. That was the original gimmick, if I remember correctly. It was going to be Idle and Dale as LSD, and then I was working against him at the time, and then you know, Buster looked at how we rode together because we used to ride together to the shows, but you know, on opposite sides of the locker room, I would lay down in the back seat. And hide and wait for them. You know, we'd be 5 miles from the arena, you know, just coming into Paragould. It's like, all right, I better lay down. I want anybody to see me on the way there. And I would wait for them to get their gear, go in the building. I would sit in the car for about 10, 15 minutes, peek around, make sure nobody was looking, and I'd crawl out of the back seat, get my shit, and go in.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he looked at that and said, you know, y'all travel together, you know, y'all spend all this time together. I'm going to put y'all all together. And
well, y'all all were like-minded. Y'all all were into all the same shit. I mean, it was a no-brainer on my end as far as putting y'all together. You know, it just was. And Cody was still a little unsure of himself at this time. You know, I remember that. I remember Cody coming to me and actually trying to bow out of the company. He was like, look, man, I just don't think I'm ready for this. And I'm like, no, you are, you know, and just go do this. You're ready. Just relax. And because, look, I used to be bad nervous too. I'd get super nervous when I first started. You got to learn how to overcome that because it will cost you bookings. It will cause you to no-show. If you let the nerves get to you too bad, and I seen that in Cody, I thought, nah, he don't really want to go nowhere. He just ain't got the confidence. His confidence ain't where it needs to be yet. So I thought about it, and I thought, well, if I put him with these two guys, I think he'll be more comfortable out there. I think it'll relax him some. He'll be with guys that he's used to. They're used to riding together, hanging out together, living together, working together. I think it'll work out perfectly. And man, from the day I remember the night we turned Cody, it worked instantly with you three guys. You know, LSD was. Here's the thing: we started with the LSD, but we didn't have no name for it, and we didn't have a name for probably 3 weeks, maybe.
Maybe more,
Three shows. Yeah, 3 shows. I don't think we was running but every 2 weeks at that time. So probably 6 weeks for 3 shows.
Yeah.
Maybe the 3rd show we come up with the name, or maybe the 4th. But I remember us tossing ideas around. My first idea was lethal, sedated, and deadly, which Bane was going to be lethal. Cody was sedated because he was just always so cool. And obviously you're deadly already, so you were deadly. And it was a kind of, what do you think? I didn't really, it wasn't like the winner on my card either, but we eventually have to have a name. And then y'all come back with something Soulless Demons. Was it Lost Soulless Demons?
I think it was.
I thought that was you, like Last of Satan's Disciples or some crazy shit.
I thought that was you.
I thought it was Buster. I thought it
or something.
It may have been because we literally was tossing ideas back and forth, you know, just at random, and we could never could find nothing that we really, all of us actually liked that seemed like it would work, you know.
And the Deviants thing worked good because the whole gimmick he wanted us to be like, you know, the drug head, like crazy, whatever. We did that, like the in-ring promo where we had like a sack. I don't even know what we were talking about, but we were dumping out stuff like condoms and cigarettes, and like rolling papers were falling out of the bag, and we're like, "Oh, we can't see that," or whatever. And yeah, it was crazy. But I wanted to get back to something. Another reason that made Cody feel more comfortable, and we pushed so hard for Cody's because we'd been a trio before that.
Sure.
But my memory's fucked because I think I got hit in the head too many times by Buster with steel chairs. But but we'd on other places in between that, I don't know if we took in a little break or we just switched companies or what, but we call ourselves the Psychopaths, and we basically were just like ripping off ICP, where we were just juggalos, painting our face and all that. And we were like, man, this is cool. Nobody really knows about that stuff around our area, but we need to kind of like have our own brand, you know what I mean? We were wanting to do something like that anyway. And then when we started working for you, it was like, again, like the stars aligned or something, and it just worked out perfect and took off from there.
Man, people don't realize how sometimes there's a lot of thought that goes into shit. Other times shit just happens. But before we named you guys, I remember it was one night, Sunday morning, about 3:00 after one of our shows. And, you know, I used to call you guys and touch base with you and just talk to you about the show and make sure y'all were having fun. And I did all the guys that way. And we were talking, and we were still tossing names around. All y'all were together. Me and Sarah we'd made it back to our house, got unloaded, and it was, like I said, it's probably 3:00 in the morning, and we're talking, going back and forth, and we're still tossing that LSD, which we've run with it, but we're still trying to figure out what it means. And I don't remember which one of y'all said something, but one of you guys said something, and it triggered. Immediately, the thing that popped in my head was labeled social deviance for some reason. I think one of y'all said the word deviant.
Yeah,
maybe.
We had Deviants for sure, and maybe labeled, but we were like soulless or something.
Yes.
Labeled soulless.
There was one word that we couldn't. It was like almost there, like, and then I don't know who popped. I really don't know who popped up with the social part, and then we were like, all of us were like, "That's it right there." It might have been Buster. Probably was.
Yeah, we were on the phone. And I think I put the social in, and immediately there was dead silence for a few seconds. And I remember because I was talking to Dale on the phone, but all y'all were there y'all were all in the same place, and it was dead silence. And I'm like, Dale, and then we all popped on it because I mean, really, I mean, it was perfect. Labeled social deviants, and see in my head, I wanted to do vignettes with y'all on a country road in a Trans Am, drinking alcohol, speeding down the highway with a 357 out, shooting road signs, labeled social deviants. And I had a million other ideas like that. But we all popped on the labeled social deviants, and the rest of it's kind of history, man. We ran until we closed down, and then y'all just butterflied that shit and kept on flying with it, man. I love it, dude. I'm proud of you guys. I'm proud that I was a part of helping y'all come up with that, and I'm proud of what y'all have done with it. But look, there's a lot of people that come up with ideas and gimmicks, and a lot of times they work for a little bit and then they just die off. You guys kind of made a whole career from that point forward out of being the labeled social deviants.
Oh, definitely.
Y'all
for
had
sure.
Y'all had a big run with that, and y'all pretty much went a lot of places and carried that name. Like I said, I'm proud of you guys. You were the perfect guys for the LSD gimmick in my opinion.
Another thing is that it works so well because we kind of really were that in real life too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure.
we just turned up the notch. When we were. I'm kind of guilty of like becoming the gimmick, actually. Like kind of like Ric Flair in a way. He became Ric Flair for real. I was like labeled social deviant Deadly Dale for real for like years, man.
Yeah.
I toned it down a little bit. I had to, but I channel it. I know how to channel it now when I need to.
Kale says just a bunch of baby makers.
Yeah.
I don't need
No
all
more
I'm making.
babies for me here. I don't need no more.
Me either. I don't need all I'm making.
Yeah.
Look,
One's enough.
I had both my kids, my son and my daughter, my two oldest. My daughter was born in 2009. My son was born in 2010. They are 1 week from being a whole year apart.
Oh, wow.
So that's them Irish twins, they call it, or something.
That's kind of how we raised them, man. They kind of growed up together. But then, fast forward 8 years later, 2018, 2019, Sarah gets pregnant again. We got another baby coming. I don't know. Look, we were done having kids with them two. We always wanted 3, but it'd been so long, and the 2 came back to back. So we figured, well, that's fate. That's the way it was supposed to be. We didn't try. We did not try. You know what I mean? We just let fate take its course, and whatever happened. And then, sure enough, just as we'd come to terms with we were done raising kids, my little girl shows up. Man, she's 4 now, and shit, it was rough enough at 35 trying to chase kids around. Think about now at 49, at 45, pretty much.
What's something we all 4 got in common? We got happy little accidents.
Yeah.
Wasn't nothing planned with none of us.
Yeah, I don't even remember life before my youngest daughter now. You know what I mean? I just don't. Since she's come along, I don't think none of us do. I don't think the 2 older kids remember life without her, and we don't either,
It's a huge paradigm shift, changes your life for sure.
Well, look, guys, I don't know how much time y'all got, but I got plenty. But look, y'all got a big show coming up this Saturday night. Tuckerman, Arkansas. It's the first annual Dwayne Stone Memorial Show.
Sir.
Is that right? And it's all the proceeds go to benefit Ricky Rowland because he's got he's got colon cancer, a pretty bad case of colon cancer.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And this will be y'all's first actual show all together. First match since y'all been back since last week, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And
In almost 5 years there.
There you
yep.
go.
Our first actual match, and to tell you the truth, I have no idea who we're kicking the shit out of yet, but I have a kind of an idea. Probably who we kicked the shit out of last week, but I
Y'all are
mean,
gonna alter
I
their
don't know.
reality for
That's
sure.
right.
We're gonna all
Gotta
this for sure.
stick our foot up their black hole.
Well, look, y'all tell us a little bit about this show and what's going on with it. This is a big deal. I mean, it's the first, like I said, it's the first annual Dwayne Stone Memorial Show, but it's also from what I understand, 100% of the proceeds are going to Ricky Rowland.
Yeah.
Give us whichever one y'all knows the most. Give us a little, as much information as you can about the show, guys.
I don't.
That's me. Still backstage guy, but so yeah, Craig Stone. He's the guy running MACW and ASWF to a point now. His daddy, Dwayne Stone, which the old vets will know who he is. Tough as nails. He passed away a few years ago from cancer. Since that moment, Craig has wanted to do something to help other people with cancer, and he's wanted to do a Dwayne Stone, benefit where all proceeds go to a local cancer patient. And unfortunately, everything just sort of lined up. Ricky got his diagnosis right at the same time Craig was trying to promote this show, so he's just like, well, we got our first person to donate all the money to, and everybody goes, yeah, we want to help Ricky, and it became a thing, and here we go. We're going to do what we can. A lot of buzz around it from the local community and the fans, so we're going to try to pack out the Valiant Arena. Hopefully we can get 400 or 500 people in that building like it should have every show, and we can make some money for Ricky so he can continue to afford to do the stuff he needs to do to get better, and hopefully he can get better. So
he's going to kick it in the fucking ass, and then he'll be himself. I have faith in that. I told him if his hair happens to fall out from chemo, we got to keep the mullet because it needs to be framed and put in the ASWF Hall of Fame because it's legendary. His hair is legendary.
Look,
and so is Rockin' Ricky. He's legendary in himself. One of the greatest guys you'll ever meet.
Actually been to the Valiant Arena, but man, I love the setup there. To me, it's the most perfect arena anywhere around here. If someone wanted to go in and shoot a TV show from, I think it would be perfect. I think it's got the right atmosphere. I just love the way it's set up, man. I'm going to have to eventually come to one of y'all shows and just as a fan, just to check it out, man. Like I said, I've never been there all these years. I've never been in the Valiant Arena. And I ever since they got it set up the way it is now, all I've ever thought was, man, that to me, that's the perfect building to shoot a good TV show out of, good wrestling show, man.
It's funny you say that because I was actually at a college students from UCA did a movie there, a short film about wrestling, and then I had a part in it. So it's funny you said that.
Before we go any further, let's get a couple of these comments. We got Danny Ice. He says, glad to see these guys back around.
Thanks, Danny.
We got Uncle Filthy. He's talking about meant to be. I'm assuming that's where we was talking about the LSD, the way it come about. Kel goes fate. I'm a big, huge believer in fate. Man, I mean, really, I believe in fate. Fate's it's always played a big part in my life anyway, And she came back and said, absolutely, no more keep your asses in the ring this time.
Actually, talking about children there, probably.
Yeah, she says, no more keep y'all's asses in the ring. Well, look, guys, y'all talking about Dale. Man, you did a little dip off into the deathmatch circuit for a little while, right?
Yes, sir. Man, it was. I'd say that was the peak of my solo career there, man. Started getting up, traveling up in the Midwest. I brought these guys along too later after I got my foot in the door because that's the farthest I've traveled, and I time I've been known here, but up there, nobody knows who the fuck you are unless, they might have caught you on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even though I've been in the business however long then, 15 years maybe, people there know me from shit, and so it's kind of like proved myself all over again, but I got instantly over with the crowd and the promoter. And
his daughter.
Yeah. It's a little later on. Yeah, it's a whole other story. But yeah, you made me lose my train of thought. I just wanted to go to the Rancid show. I did get to go to the Rancid show. But guys like I got to meet Madman Pondo was a regular at that show. It's Strictly Insane Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Sam, not Sexy Sam. Sam Cosby. He still runs. Too Tough Tony, them guys, badass guys. They're fucking awesome. I met a lot of awesome dudes up there. The Hooligans, Alex Herzog, Mikey. He's on Memphis. Warhorse. He was like a greenhorn now. Hell, and was having matches on TV against Cody Rhodes for the TNT title or whatever the fuck it was called. But it's crazy. And then just getting in good with them guys. And I'm trying to remember the time frame of this. I got on a JCW, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, ICP shit, which going back, that's what we watched all the time on DVD and stuff. And I think I blessed and cursed myself at the same time, because I said, if I ever work for ICP, I've ever got to do this, I'm good and I can retire. Well, I got to, and I worked freaking fucking Necro Butcher. I was just showing up. They said show up when there might be a battle royal we can get you in. So I showed it was in St. Louis or across the river at Sauget, Illinois. And there wasn't even a battle royal, and the whole tour was the main event was Necro Butcher against somebody in a death match, and they didn't have anybody to work Necro that night. And man, I had guys vouching for me. It made me feel good. I was like kind of over here, and I've seen Tony look at the card. He's like, Dale can do that. Dale can do that. And Pondo put a word in for me. I heard him. And the Hooligans, they were like the tag champs then. That's Mason and Devin Cutter. And it happened. I had probably my favorite match of all time. And it blew my mind. It feels like a dream. I was like, I have Violent J, in the ring announcing me and stuff, and I'm wrestling the Necro Butcher, a legend, and not just death match, but wrestling. Yeah. Period. And then fast forward, I ended up in Prince of the Death Match, IWA Mid South. I made it to the finals, and I didn't win the finals. But whoever wins goes to the King a couple months later. And that's a hard crowd to win over too up there. It was in they're in the Midwest, but the actual show was not Kentucky, not Illinois, Indiana. And and then at the end of the match, the crowd was chanting, "Put them both in," and
it was you
in Rotten. What?
You and Schwartzy, right?
Yeah, Joseph Schwartz. Yeah. Joseph Schwartz, man, he's a good dude too. Haven't seen in a long time. But yeah, the crowd chanted me in. Joseph Schwartz won, and Ian Rotten come out there. I had no clue, and he's like, "You're number whatever," and then guess what? He's number 15 in the tournament. And I'm like, blew my mind, and I'm like, it was another surreal moment. And then I rode the roller coaster for a while. Got to work at the Gathering of the Juggalos after that, which was another dream come true. Yeah. And I'm not trying to make it all about me, but I'm just trying to hit this death match shit. I loved it. But it was like I was at the top. I don't know what happened. I kept riding that roller coaster for a while, and then I started to kind of slow down and get back up off my peak. Just life shit happened, and there was a lot of traveling, and I don't drive. I can drive, but I'm not a drive myself 12 hours away kind of person. I'm just not a good navigator and stuff. And I don't know what happened. It just happened. I didn't fall off the map, but hey, I loved it while it lasted. And, you know, I'm still here. I'd do a death match today. I'd still do it.
What about you two guys? Did y'all dabble on in there, or did y'all watch Dale and say, fuck that shit?
We used to do a lot of hardcore. Basically, like we call it the LSD death match. And then it was like just wild hardcore brawls we'd have with crazy weapons. We didn't have, you know, tubes and shit like that. But, you know, they've had their fucking totally like their shares of hardcore, like extreme hardcore, you know, not no tournament. Well, there was one tournament I forgot about. Y'all were in the battle royal at that bar.
That strip club.
Yeah. I wrestled a young Gail Patricks. Yeah. When I went out in the first round, I totally forgot about that one. Probably because I was fucking blitzed out of my head the whole time, you know. But y'all go ahead on that.
Yeah, God, I don't remember who was on that. Who booked that show? Anybody?
Oh God, I think he's a fucking like a criminal. Like it's like a bot. What was it? I seen an article where he had like been like carnying motherfuckers in real life or something. Like somebody sent me an article from but the name of the bed was Evolution Pro or something like that.
Yeah, that DVD, they put that on DVD and it was in for sale in like Hastings and stuff like that.
Oh, really? No
Our first
shit.
DVDs that we were on.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was cool. We really liked that. I did.
I found Dale on YouTube. So I knew he was doing death matches when I first discovered YouTube. I don't know, 5-6 years ago, maybe. I got hooked on death matches. It's kind of like look, I did all kind of hardcore wrestling too, but man, some of the shit y'all do in the death matches, dude. I mean, you're all right. What is the difference to you? How is it different to do the death matches than the normal matches mentally? We obviously know the physical differences, but mentally for you, is there a difference for you, Dale, or is it just another show? Go out there and do what you do.
I mean, it's different, but at the same time, it's just the same. If I was working a normal match, because for one, people get it fucked up. They think if you are a death match wrestler that you suck. All you can do is swing something in, but that's bullshit. Like, I'd say you got to be a really fucking good wrestler to do deathmatch wrestling, because if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you're going to kill yourself for real out there. Like, it's going to be a literal death match, because it can happen even if you are the best wrestler on the planet. But yeah, I just go out there and just don't tense up. Just like if I'm taking a bump, but there might just happen to be some fucking glass I'm bumping on. Just do it. Just go all out, man, and just do it like a normal match. And people think there ain't no psychology. Well, it's like some of our old hardcore matches were just brawls, you know. But most of these like tournaments or like a death match, like I did with Necro, it's a structured match with psychology. The weapons mean stuff. Like his leg had been fucked up real bad. So I beat on his leg, and I don't know if this has ever been done in deathmatch history, but I like applied the figure 4 leg lock in the death match on his fucked up knee after I beat it with a chair. But it's not for everybody, and I don't like judge people who do it or people who don't. But I've learned there's people who talk shit about it because that ain't real wrestling. And there's people that really believe that, and then there's people that do that because they're just fucking scared of it.
You know, it's like, I think a big issue with it is like just regular wrestling too. A lot of times you see the garbage more than you see the good shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it taints regular wrestling when you see bullshit wrestlers in the ring, just half-ass wrestling, no psychology, no nothing. Just like when you turn, because you can flip on YouTube right now and you can find. That's one thing I learned. I learned the difference in the death matches, the ones that I liked watching the show, certain shows, and the ones that were just ass hats out in the
Oh
field
yeah.
somewhere, putting on throw the fucking half-ass ring up, and they're just basically hitting each other with shit and throwing each other into barbed wire with no psychology, nothing there.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives it a bad rep because most casual fans, that's what they see first.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see the good shit. They see the worst of it, you know.
They see those viral "you fucked up" videos, and that's
Yeah.
what they named the whole genre on.
Like it goes both ways. It goes for normal wrestling. That can
Yeah.
apply to normal wrestling too. You're gonna see shitball, just stuff that makes you, like the kids say nowadays, cringe. And you're like, oh god damn, no wonder people fucking don't take shit seriously, man. And like death match, it's a normal fucking match with psychology, and all the other shit is just extra props. You know what I mean? I mean,
the weapons have been intensified a hell of a lot, you know.
yeah, that's one thing that it's like especially some of these hardcore bloodthirsty fans, which they are some of the best fans ever. They really support their guys, but you got to keep these guys have to keep up in the ante, you know, like until you're doing some shit you might not be getting up from, you know, coming off of like 20-foot buildings and shit like that, you know.
Dude, the regular wrestling, it ain't no different. These guys now,
Mm-hmm.
one of them do a spectacular spot, and then the next one's got to try to do better, and then it just keeps going and going until, well, I mean, basically we got to sit around until somebody actually gets killed, you know, does one of these things, and they actually die right there in front of us. And, you know, it's like we were talking, me and Leigh at the first. All wrestling needs to be based in psychology. No matter what kind of style of wrestling you're doing, it still has to be based in psychology because that's what people watch it for. People don't even death matches. They don't just watch. Now you might have your assholes like who watch NASCAR just for car crashes, but people who really like wrestling, it's like me. It became an acquired taste when I first found them. It was like a curiosity, you know what I mean? Because I just found YouTube too, and you're like, what the fuck is this? You know, like, you know it's out there, but you don't see it. You can't just click on back in the day and find anything you want. Now you can. And then over time you watch it and you learn that all death matches aren't created equal, just like all fucking pro wrestling matches aren't created equal. You know?
Exactly.
And it's all got to be based in psychology at the end. You know, it's just my philosophy. People have to understand why y'all are doing what y'all are doing. You know, that's what wrestling's about.
That's my number one thing is it has to make sense. I don't give a fuck what I'm doing. If I'm wrestling a midget, a giant, a female, whatever, it has to make sense to me. And usually if it makes sense to me, it's going to, I guess, I mean, I'm weird, but it's going to make, I know what will make sense to a crowd too, or a fan. You know, it's like, I don't know, like you're beating the shit out of someone, you're beating the total shit out of someone, and then you turn and turn on the people helping them or something, and then like, okay, well, you're friends now. You were just beating the total fuck out of them, you know, like say if you're flipping or whatever, for example. I'm talking a lot. Y'all guys fucking pop in.
Well, look, this is for both of you, Cody and Bane.
Yes, sir.
All right, both of y'all. I don't care who goes first. What's y'all's opinion on wrestling? The wrestling you left to the wrestling you're coming back to now. Do you have an opinion? Do you feel a certain way about it?
Yeah, I do. Man, to tell you the truth, like I have really fallen out of love with the wrestling business. It's a different business than when I got in it, and honestly, since I've stopped watching, I haven't watched new wrestling, even old wrestling. And I used to burn laser holes in DVDs. I watched them so often. But I haven't watched anything in 5-6 years, something like that. And it's just, man, it's totally different. I mean, whenever I got in it, kayfabe was already pretty much dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, guys, you know, a lot of guys still tried. You know, we a lot of us were, you know, we were brought in by old school guys that taught you the right way. And I don't know, it's a totally different business now.
And you didn't have the internet then either, you know.
Right.
The way it is now, you know, it just.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's right there for you at the blink of an eye. Whatever you want to know or do.
Carrying around a smart computer, you know.
Right.
It's the best and worst thing to ever happen to wrestling at the same time.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, I'm 37. I'm not that old of a dude, but I tell you, walking in the locker room, seeing a lot of these young guys coming in and the things that they're doing and the way that they look at the business, I don't know. I kind of feel like a dinosaur. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you on that one, man. Here's the thing for you. It's probably a plus that you hadn't been keeping up with it, hadn't really been watching, because you're not as tainted as a lot of us are. Look, I don't watch no WWE anymore hardly. Only time I watch something from WWE is if a thumbnail or something catches my attention and I want to see what the fuck ever happened. I do not watch it at all. And I'm a guy who watched wrestling. If I wasn't there to watch it, I recorded. I watched every fucking wrestling I could possibly get on my TV my whole life, as long as I can remember. And I never watch WWE, like I said, unless a thumbnail catches my eye and I go watch something specific just to see. I do watch AEW, but it's starting to wear on me too, because I always watch it still hoping with that enthusiasm that maybe something will happen that really gets us, you know what I mean? And it never does. But I could just be old and jaded too. Who the fuck knows? You know what I mean? But Bane, what about you in the business? I mean, you're the most active of the guys. So how's the business for you?
You know, I felt the same way that Cody did on a lot of things. I haven't watched Raw and I've never watched a full episode of AEW or anything, but I'm a clip watcher. If I see something that interests me or if I hear buzz, I'm going to look it up and I'm going to take a glance at it that way. But I don't have time to watch 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours
exactly
on 16 hours of AEW, whatever they've got nowadays with the new show and everything. But man, if I want to watch something and it catches a buzz for me, I'm going to watch it and I love it. Man, we were talking earlier about you calling us at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I almost guarantee you we were sitting at Cody's house watching 2 hours of Lucha Libre, which we had probably watched the morning before or the morning after too, because that's what we did. We sat around, we went to wrestling shows, we watched fucking 30 hours of wrestling every weekend, and then we went home and tried to survive and catch up and get a break and make $1 for the job.
Watch our own matches over and over.
And
fuck out of them.
And think about wrestling all fucking week long, you know, all week.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think people realize how much of your time, man, when you get into the wrestling business and you really love it, it really consumes every single second of your fucking day in life, man.
Yes.
Look, it comes to a point where you have to learn to push it back sometime, you know, like, hey, look, when you're young and you're trying to make it and you're hoping you get that deal and you hoping you get to WCW or WWF or wherever it may be, ECW, then you're all in. You're doing whatever. But as you get older, the more time passes and the older you get, you realize, man, there is more to life than just wrestling. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
sure.
if you let it, it will consume every second of your life.
For sure.
From daylight to dawn. You'll even think about it while you're sleeping. My mind used to never quit working. I could go to sleep, and my mind, I was conscious the whole night that my mind was still working. I was either going through ideas in my brain, or say we just come from a show and I'm replaying the matches over and over in my head. It
Sounds
just never
awful familiar.
stops. It just never stops, man. Well, look, guys, is there? What are y'all looking for with this LSD comeback? Is it a full blown comeback, or are y'all just kind of
Man, right now we got
testing the waters, or what?
Dipping the toe in, see where it goes.
Yeah, we got one match. This all sort of came together in a quick burst, and we're gonna again dip the toes in and see where it goes. So, guess we'll find out Saturday if we're a success or not in our return. But I think it's gonna be good. It looks to be fun. I'm ready to have my boys by my side one more time. Let's roll.
Yeah, I'm ready to see you guys, man. I'm glad you guys are back. I tell you what, I ain't gonna lie to you about it. I want to see you three guys show up on Memphis Wrestling.
Well, there you go.
I think LSD could shake some shit up on Memphis. I really do. I think you'd add a really, really a new wrinkle to the fold, man. I think it'd be something different. That's what I'm hoping for, guys. I'm rooting for it every day. I'm hoping I turn on the TV one Saturday morning and there you guys are. Y'all pop up out of nowhere.
Well, I'm not against it. Offer's right, the time's right. I'm all good, man. Right now though, like I said, kind of just dipping the toe in because it's been a while and getting my bearings back, trying to get my groove back into the fold of things, get the confidence back up, and get used to things and
Brush off some regrets on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, don't call it a comeback.
That's right.
Shit. But speaking of Uncle Filthy, are we go? I got a shout. We'll do some shout outs for some channels and stuff.
Yeah,
I do. Yeah, he's got a channel, like a comedy channel. I do little cameos on there. I've got my YouTube, Deadly Dale. I Twitter, Deadly Dale. Hell, I'm on Facebook, Dale Chitty. That's why we can use our real names now. I guess everybody knows. Ain't no sense of trying to hide that shit no more. If you're going to find me, if they want to find you, they're going to find you. But and Sleazy, he's a kid. He wants to get on your podcast. He's like one of the most passionate little dudes I ever met in my life. It took him about 10 years of training to actually start finally getting in and getting good, but he's doing great. He's Sleazy on YouTube, and I told him I'd put a word in for him to you. So
I've never met him, but I know who he is.
Yeah.
I don't know, here maybe a year or so ago, we talked a little bit about, I don't know if it was some matches I had posted or something. We had a few messages back and forth. Yeah, man, I don't see that being a problem, man, at all, Look, that's what this is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great talker, man. You'd probably enjoy him.
Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff, man. I've seen some of his matches. I mean, from what I can see of him, he's a pretty damn good worker. He is. Really.
We've all three, like in that, he's just had life stuff too. He like I said, like 10 years, he'd been watching us since he was like 12 years old or something. And he's trained like so many times, man. Like he don't have just one trainer, because me and Philip and probably Cody, I know me and Philip for sure is like trained him till he was vomiting like many times, and then he disappeared off the map like completely. Like, I mean, seriously, couldn't get a hold of him, and then he'd show back up and like train, but he's finally got his feet planted, and he's like full steam ahead now. He's doing great shit up at Vino's. Them guys up there, big man K Toomer and stuff, run that show, and it's good shit going there.
Yeah, I
But
see.
the shows for Saturday, 7:30, right?
7:30, yes, sir.
7:30. Tuckerman, Arkansas, man, and it's very, very good cause. It ain't no gimmick. I know how it's going to be the first annual for Craig's dad, and that just lined up in a good way, but a shitty way at the same time with Ricky getting sick. But hopefully we can help him out a lot.
Hey, I'm pretty sure I just remember this too. We're doing a 50-50 drawing, I believe, at the door. So the 50% that goes whatever back to us, all that's going to go straight to Ricky so he can get back and forth to do his chemo and all that stuff whenever that started. Pretty sure he just got his poured in and is going to start that process pretty quick.
Yeah, man. Y'all, any fans?
He's got, but he's going to fight it like a champ. I know he is. So.
Oh yeah.
Any of you fans out there around Tuckerman or wherever, if you're close enough to go. They got plenty of room. They got a nice facility.
Air conditioned.
Air conditioned.
Fully air conditioned. That's hard to come by around here, man. Especially in the summertime, man. See that? I'm sure if they got air conditioning, they got great concessions. It's going to be a great show. And like you said, all the proceeds are going to go to Ricky Rowland. It's for it couldn't be for a better cause.
No,
so if anybody around Arkansas, if you're close enough and you want to go see a killer show, you want to go see the label Social Deviants make their return to pro wrestling, and you want to help out and be part of a good cause, go to Tuckerman, Arkansas. You'll see these guys.
That's an excuse in itself right there. Come on, man.
Hey, that's worth the price of admission, man. They're going to alter somebody's reality there.
Yep.
And just come out and support this show. Fill this building up. How many people can this building hold?
It's 100 easy. Three big sets of bleachers plus probably 100 chairs. I mean, it can hold some people.
Fill this up. Y'all come out and support this show and fill this building up and help these people, man.
If anybody can't make it to the show, feel free to reach out to Craig Stone on Facebook or the MACW Facebook or ASWF, anyone. Somebody will watch that. If y'all want to make a donation, y'all can do it through there. All the money will go straight to Ricky when it's all said and done. And
they're selling shirts too. That goes to Ricky.
There you go. Yeah, I forgot about that. There's a pre-order for shirts that's been posted on both the Facebook pages. So, man, check that out if y'all want to help. If anybody out there has ever been influenced or, Ricky's ever done something good for you, and if you've been around Ricky long enough, he's probably done something fucking good for you in that time. Man, help this guy out. He's one of the best ones ever, and he needs our help right now. So we're coming together. We're gonna help him. I think Craig said a thing. In this family, you don't fight alone. So we're all gonna fight for Ricky this time.
Yes,
go, man. That's one
love
thing
you, Filthy.
Yes, sir.
Look, the wrestlers, we may bicker amongst each other. There's a lot of heat. A lot of heat can be got in the wrestling business, but
no doubt,
most of the time, at the end of the day, we all still come together when it's need be for a good cause. Everybody puts their differences aside, comes to do what they need to do to help out and put on a hell of a show. And this is MACW/ASWF. Is that what it is?
Yes. The home of the official unified Arkansas title. So
there you go.
I consider that the main title in Arkansas at this moment. It's unified.
The building's been up and running for 15 plus years. I don't think anybody in this state can make a claim anywhere close to that. So,
yeah, not shitting on any other shows. That's just the facts,
Yeah, I know COVID put a hurt on everybody, and I was beginning to wonder if Tuckerman was going to open back up, because a lot of shows finally, when COVID kind of loosened up a little bit and people were starting to run again, a lot of people were starting to run shows, and I was wondering if, I was there for a while because it took Tuckerman a little while to get back up and running. But since y'all have, man, y'all been going full blast. Y'all have some awesome talent on every Saturday night. Y'all have awesome talent. Some of the top talent around the Mid-South area. I try to keep up with what I can see of it with the flyers and stuff,
Sure. We were doing some stuff on YouTube, but again, live came into in the way, and our editor has sort of Real Life's kicked in, so he hasn't been able to work on it as much. But that's going to get all kicked back up. All this stuff's been recorded, and we want to put out long term. We want to put out a bunch of the old MACW shows from over the last 6, 7, 8 years that company's been around, and older too, because that was a company that Dwayne was running for years and years back in the 80s and probably early 90s. And ASWF has, I mean, my first show was at ASWF, you know. I mean, that company's been around for 25 years or something. I mean, Dell too. So we've got, and Polston, who unfortunately just passed away, and he recorded everything. He had VHSs, and Ricky inherited all that. And so if we can get all that switched over to digital, man, we're going to start putting that stuff out too. We're fixing to have a library that, I mean, most you know, like Memphis wouldn't have it at this point, just because it's so separated and all that stuff. So we're trying to do some stuff. We're all just really busy in real life, and it's the way things go, unfortunately, at times. So,
hey, transferring shit from DVDs or VHSs over to completely digital. That's all I do, man. That's what I do. Is, I mean, I spend all my fucking days transferring videos from mainly old VHS to digital, so I can upload it to YouTube.
Full-time job.
It really is, man. People don't realize how much. I mean, first of all, you got to go get the equipment you need. I had to go buy a transfer, which it's not something expensive you get. I think I paid about $115 for my transfer. And it'll go from, you can do DVDs or VHSs on it. Yeah. But yeah, hey, that's pretty much what I do. Put out, I do go record some new content, but most of my stuff's old content. That's how I've gotten a lot of my content, is different people in places that had a bunch of old content and they just never was going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
They'll hit me up, man, and that's how I get a lot of my content, dude.
It's preserving history because, I mean, like it or not, it's once it hits the internet, it's almost, it ain't going nowhere. Tapes deteriorate and rot, but the internet is its own entity. It'll be there somewhere in the internet, saved forever.
Man, I got a storage shed with probably, just a guesstimation, let's just say 1,000 or more old VHS tapes that have been in storage for since 2000. Some of them even before that, because, you know, I recorded everything. Even the shit I watched back in the day, I recorded it too, because I wouldn't just watch a show once. I like to watch it. I'd even sleep to it. And talking about mentally and the mind never quit working. Yeah. Man, when I first broke into business and was training, and my first few years in the business, I literally would sleep to different wrestling pay-per-views, shows every night for years and years, dude. But them tapes and shit, especially the DVDs keep better. The old VHSs, man, if you got some that's in the fucking shed like that and they've been out there and they ain't been in a temperature controlled place or something, man,
melt and shit.
Yes, man. The footage just deteriorates. Even if the film itself looks fine, when you play it, man, a lot of times. Now, some of it can be 30 years old and it'll play just like it was just recorded. It'll be perfect. Other shit can be 15 years old and looks like it's 100 years old. Sure. And then you got to do the best you can to try to clean it up, you know. But I'm like you, it's history. Here's the thing. All these old matches, they may not mean nothing to every person out there in general, but they mean something to the people who was in them, the people who was there, the fans who were there and actually watched them. So when they see these old matches come up on YouTube, man, it opens up a lot of memories for people. You know, it's history. And look, I put on some stuff, some old stuff that is literally, I mean, most wrestling guys would. Some of this shit is the shits, but it's still someone's memories. It's someone's history is the way I look at it. Just cause I may look at the match and think, well, and it may be a god awful match, but that don't mean the people who were in it aren't out there watching, and they're happy when they see their shit. Their family, say you got people who's died. I have people hit me up ever so often who say, you know, my such and such was a wrestler and he's passed away. My grandpa, my uncle, my dad, and I'm so glad you put this footage on. You know, because that's memories. That's somebody's memories out there, and they deserve to be out there. You know, they deserve.
I want to add to that too. And there's guys, young guys, still in the business that do like research all types of wrestling: the old, the new, lucha, Japanese, European, and they study old stuff like that. And even if it is the shits, a match you put on there, that's you. What's the saying? You don't remember history, you're doomed to repeat it, kind of thing.
Right.
But you're going to put some gold out there too, and they'll be like, "Oh wow!" And they might pick something up from a match from the fucking 70s and learn some stuff and incorporate that into their move set or their psychology. Not all these guys. I was listening earlier. There's a lot of guys that they are still, you know, I'm not shitting on like how am I trying to put it? There's a lot of guys that don't shit on the business or shit up the fucking stink up the place that I'm confident for the future. You know, there's dudes out there. I mean, there's guys that we talk to. Not saying we're like, you know, gods of wrestling or anything, but we know a little bit, and we come from the older school a little bit. And yeah, I mean, there's just a flavor for everybody too in wrestling now. If you like high flying spots and stuff, man, there's lucha libre, and it's kind of all kind of melted together. But at the end of the day, it's still your fundamentals and your psychology. And like you said earlier, anything can work. When you had a Rayleigh on here, I was listening, and like you said, there's been some goofy shit in wrestling, but if you make it make sense, it works. You know what I mean? You can make anything work in wrestling.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in you can do anything you want to in pro wrestling as long as you put it together with logic and make it make sense to the people. It can be the most outlandish, cartoonish, whatever shit that would never happen in the real world whatsoever. But if you can figure out a way to put it together to where, and here's the thing, it's all based in logic. No matter how, I don't care if I'm going to kick you in the ass and you're going to fly to the moon. Well, we got to figure out how to make that make sense. You know what I mean? Let's figure out how to put this
Strap
together.
the fucking rocket on his back, and then you kicked his ass, and then it activated the fucking rocket, and then he just shot through the fucking building all the way to the moon.
Look, being a pro wrestler is a free range of creativity.
Yes.
If you're a creative person, the more wrestling's built upon creativity. I mean, truthfully, new shit or taking something here, something there, something old, something new, and turning it into something of your own. You know, the more creative you are, the better opportunities, the better chance you have to make it in the wrestling business. Because I mean, it's a creative business. It's as simple as that. I mean, it just is. Creativity rules pro wrestling. You know, the more clever shit you can think of, the better you're going to be, man. But it's all based in logic and psychology. And that's the one thing that and there are guys, look, there's plenty of guys out there that have it and do it, even some of these young guys. But I'm learning there's so many more guys that don't.
Yeah. It's because it's so much easier to get in nowadays. You can't weed out goofs, you know, and people throwing people in the ring like they should never even be. They should be buying a ticket instead of like, oh God, I need to book this show. I need some workers. Hey man, you want to come in and do this show, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, Jesus Christ, man, you're fucking killing the goddamn business, dude. That's the promoter's fault too, or the booker. One thing I live by now is a quote from the late, oh shit, my bad, he ain't late, but the great Terry Funk is, it ain't my job to, because he's talking about kayfabe being dead, which it is, you know, but I try to keep it as much as possible. But he said, it ain't my job to make the people believe wrestling is real. It's my job to make the people believe I'm real.
That's right.
Like when they see me in the ring, I want them to say, oh, God damn, them other guys, I don't know about them, but he like fucking punched him in the face for real. Because that's what I do. When I get in there, I kick your fucking ass for real.
I've seen him do it.
I think we've all seen him do it. Well, look, guys, we got a few minutes left. Give me y'all's best LSD road story where all three of y'all together and whatever else entails. Give me y'all's best road story. One that y'all all pretty much unanimously agree on was either the craziest shit, the stupidest shit, the most fun shit, whatever. Guys, give us a good LSD story.
Oh, fuck.
Wow. That's
Put
a
y'all's
tall
ass
order.
That's
Put
something.
y'all's ass on the spot, didn't I?
We've slept since then. Okay, here's the one, and I don't think Cody was involved in this show. It was after we had sort of split up, but me and Deadly were doing Goon Squad stuff, and we had Eli and a couple other guys with us. We were doing Outlaw up there in Illinois for the Hoolies.
Yeah.
We had stopped somewhere in Carbondale, Illinois on the way back. It was after the show. You know, we'd been drinking after the show and, you know, whatnot and having a good time. And Dale loves to take his beer drinking to another level at times.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell this story because Bradley keeps telling me every couple of weeks about this story. So here it is. So we go to
Bradley, but go ahead.
Uh,
Love you, Bradley. I hate you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We were at a Steak and Shake in, I think it was Carbondale, Illinois, or some shit. And for whatever reason, Dale I think he got upset at a waitress or something. She was being a bitch or something, and he went outside and finished his 30-pack and whatever was left of it. And we finished up eating, came outside, and he was fired up and doing all this stuff, and he threw his 30-pack case out in the ground, and I gotta go pick it up. You know, I was not trying to cause a scene, not trying to get arrested in Illinois, you know, and shit like that. So as soon as I threw it back in the back of the truck that we were at, he grabbed it, threw it down again. He looked at me with the most serious looks. I'm gonna take the glasses off so you can see. Since when do you give a fuck about the environment? I was trying not to laugh. I know he's fucking.
I get the fucking when y'all were on the road when Mikey sent that message. I thought he was talking about something totally different, but now I understand.
No, now you understand. But it was a little thing. The next day we were fine, but he was fine.
I do remember getting in the car and like the boys I rode with, you know, we're just like dead silent. And I didn't know what to say. But
I put you down after that. By the way, they said the trip turned out fine, and y'all had to go home. But well, we always find a way to entertain each other with one way or another.
But all three of us together, man, I don't know. I was always fucking too kind of. I'll admit, I get too fucking wild, and especially these 8-hour fucking trips.
Yeah.
But is it that maybe
a lot of beer drinking right there in 8 hours?
Yeah. Was I not throwing beer bottles out of the window and hitting semis with them once, or trying to hit the wheels of them or something?
I've seen a lot of sign throwing
On the highway.
at the shoot job gimmick we did together. I don't know. There's a good chance of it.
That just seemed like maybe I dreamed that shit, but I don't know.
So let me ask y'all this. Hearing that story, and I can imagine some of the other shit. Is there any LSD mug shots running around out there anywhere from any of these trips?
No, we got lucky on that. I've been arrested a couple times on some shit, but not wrestling, not on wrestling trips.
Now,
thank God.
We may have been pulled over on several wrestling trips and harassed by the police. Our vehicle searched. that sort of thing. But no, we always came out on top on that end.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know how, but we did.
No, same.
anytime I've ever been pulled over on a wrestling trip and we wasn't doing something in the van or the vehicle that we shouldn't have been, being a wrestler, once they figure it out and find out, always work to our advantage. They did. Look, me and my brother were coming in from Osceola one night, and we were going to, this is when I still lived in West Helena. So we're coming through Hughes, Hughes, Mississippi. Or Hughes, not Hughes, Mississippi, Hughes, Arkansas. We're coming through Hughes. And I get pulled over. And so me and him are in the truck, and the cops come up, and immediately they run my name and shit, and they were like, "Well, can you get out?" And I'm like, "Why?" And I said, "Well, you've got a old a speeding ticket that I hadn't paid from Marvel, Arkansas, and this motherfucker's like a year and a half old." You know, so they pull me out, asking us what we're doing and stuff, and we tell them. And you can obviously, when we first told them, well, we're wrestlers coming from a show, you could tell it's kind of like, well, that could be bullshit. So, and obviously we had our shit in the back, our wrestling bag, so they wanted to go through them and search them. So Sam, obviously as a manager, they search his fucking bag first. So they reach into the front, you know, them old roll suitcases, and they reach into the front of it, and it's full of just gimmicks. But the first thing they pull out is this giant bag of baby powder. So they look, before the cop even pulls out, me and Sam's looking at each other. We're kind of, they ain't got us handcuffed or nothing. We're just over the back of the truck watching them search, and me and Sam both looked at each other. When they felt it, we could tell by the look on the face, because the cop got this smile on his face like he done found something.
Got you now.
Me and Sam looked at each other, and the cop kind of pulled it out, and he said, "What is this?" And Sam told him, said, "Well," he said, "that's baby powder. That's for throwing in people's eyes." So the cop still didn't believe it, so he undone this shit, opened it up, took him a big old whiff, bucket baby powder like hell, man. So he put that back in there. Then he goes to putting all these other, you know, Sam's got chains. He's got little fucking metal things you stick on your thumb and shit for jugging somebody in the throat. He's just like got all kind of fucking gimmicks. So he looked through his shit, and obviously now they're believing, well, I guess they are wrestlers. So they go through my shit, and they open it up, and there's the boots, the mask, the suit. And needless to say, before it was over, they were supposed to take me to the jail there. I don't know why. I guess because Marvel was pissed or something. But they just ended up, after they found out the wrestler thing was true and stuff, and once they did, and they found out where we were coming from in Osceola, then they wanted to talk about Moondog. So we spent 15 fucking minutes after we're basically free talking to them about wrestling, but they basically just rewrote me another ticket and said, go pay it, you know. And I've been stopped countless times like that on wrestling trips where unless you get a prick, most of them, once they find out, like if they look through your shit and see the proof that, yeah, that is what you are, changes the whole fucking thing right then, their whole attitude and everything. It's always worked to my advantage in those situations, you know.
That saved me on a solo pullover one time. So I had like fucking brass knuckles and one of them batons that you could sling out and shit. And I was like, I'm a wrestler. I'm coming back from a show, and they see my gear in the back and stuff. So I got off on that, you know.
That's
so similar.
Took your gimmick.
Yeah, but like I'm a wrestler. I'll use it for this. Yeah.
They took your shit?
No, yeah, they did fucking take it, actually. Yeah. I remember. Swifton. Fucking Swifton cop. This is years ago. And I went to jail on some fucking ticket I didn't even know I had it from Cersei. So they like had to like transport me and all this shit. Oh yeah, man. But I didn't get charged with the deadly weapons or nothing. They just took the shit from me. I was pissed about all of that. But and my car, it blew up. That's what happened. The engine blew up. You know that liquor store up there by the fucking the stoplights and stuff. Yeah, I was coming from somewhere and I was going to Newport to the bar or something. It blew up and I coasted over into that liquor store, and then the Swifty cops fucking got my ass.
Well, let me ask you something. Talking about your old car, How long did that old LTD you used to drive last, y'all?
Oh, that was probably the one I was driving. I think that's the one I was driving that blew up.
Dude,
That one I think wreck car you had.
the reason that always cracked me up is because my first vehicle was my mom's old blowed out Mercury Grand Marquis, which is basically just the LTD with all the bullshit on it, you know,
Mercury.
with all the bells and whistles. But now the time I got it, none of this shit worked, you know.
Those seats are like a couch, though, man. They're comfy.
Dude, man, me and my friends, we took that motherfucker everywhere. I backed that look, we backed that motherfucker in ditches, and the whole fucking trunk be full of water, and slide that motherfucker in low and pull right on out. You draining water for a fucking mile, man. Them old cars were tough, man. Hey, and they might not be super fast on the start, but on the top end, you know, they had that big old fucking.
They're solid metal. Fucking, you could like go through a brick wall with them fucking things, man. I had a couple.
Dude, I was backing out from the Sonic one night in Helena, and you got that big old steel bumper. And so I'm going to back out of the little stall, and that's back when they still had the little metal poles.
Yeah.
And I turned a little too soon. I was pissed about something, so when I gagged it out, I was gagging it. And I turned a little too sharp, and the corner of that bumper hit the metal pole that the Sonic ordering thing's on. Suck the whole motherfucking Sonic, man. I shit you not. The whole building fucking shook, man. I looked around. Nobody realized what really happened. I pulled up a little bit. Got the fuck out of there, dude. I love that old car, man. That was the car I cut all my fucking teeth in. I done everything in that fucking car. Shit I should do, shit I shouldn't do, shit should nobody know I did.
Right.
You know? Well, look, guys. Dale, I want to talk to you a second. Now, talking about Uncle Filthy and the YouTube channel, I have actually seen a couple of your news. Your news breaks, man.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that, man. How did you come up on that, man?
Well, Filthy, man, he's like probably one of the funniest, most talented guys I know I fucking ever met in my life.
Quick-witted like a motherfucker, I swear.
Oh yeah, man. He's funnier than hell. Like I said, and he kind of for years I'll be like, man, you could fucking blow up on YouTube and shit. And he kind of just got off, out of it, kind of off the radar himself. And he started doing it again. I was still super proud of him. And I think he asked me to come on a live panel with him or something once. And so he wanted me to. I was like, man, I got this idea. I look at the news on the internet every morning or whenever I crawl my ass out of bed. And I was like, this shit is so ridiculous. You should do a segment where you like read the news. Like, oh man, you should do it. Send it to me, and it'll be like Deadly's news desk or something. I was like, all right. So trying to collab with him, get just for fun. It's it's like a straight comedy, satire, dark comedy.
I've seen a few
parental advisory type shit, But yeah, I enjoy doing it with him.
I've seen a few of them. I like it, man. It's fun.
It's fun, and you're trying to get it. He likes doing it. I'm saying, like, if you want to make a YouTube channel, anybody fucking just start, man. Start with your phone, build up. If you want to get a big studio someday, just start. Get the ball rolling, like I mentioned earlier about something. But yeah, man, I do that on there now and then, and I'll go live with him. My channel, the Deadly Dale channel, I leave it as just a wrestling archive. But I've started trying to put little shorts up on there because that's where all the new the new what am I trying to say? The rave, baby. Everybody's on the fucking short shit like TikTok and all that.
Shorts and the reels and all that shit.
Yeah.
I just learned how to make a fucking reel, man. Look, the only videos I got is shorts. That's just how long the fucking video was, man.
Yeah.
If it was short enough to be a short.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to add more shit up on there. There for a while, I was like, hell, I ain't got to record nothing anymore because people were recording my shit and I just add it to a playlist. But if I have my own, I'll upload it. I put the It's usually just like a fan cam, somebody would send me. Like I got the reunion of the LSD the other night, and it's up on there. So I'll upload on there, but I keep it, I cleaned it up so it's just straight wrestling. But any other little funny joke type shit I might be doing, it'll be on the Uncle Filthy Network, is what we call it now. It's just at Uncle Filthy. Yep.
Well, look,
You must see these guys pop up too on the live panel on Uncle Filthy. Cody did not long ago.
Oh crap!
Surprised me, beat me to it.
well, look, I was doing some. It's been a couple months ago now. I was kind of keeping up with the YouTube views for the wrestling shows. And you hit me up with a comment or a message. I don't remember which one, but you got a video out there that's got over 1 million fucking views, man. Tell me about it.
That's necro.
Well, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's 1 million, but it's almost there. I did have somebody record that for me. It was the Juggalo Championship Wrestling match or show, and it was the match against the Necro Butcher, and I'm sure his name's probably getting all the views for me, but it was a really good. It was just a phone, and this was like 2015 or something. So you know how phones are like, they mutate every year and it's gotten better. But it was good footage, and yeah, I was surprised at how many views that thing. It still gets views, but I go in the back end and look. It's still the top video. Like last 48 hours, 50 people's viewed it or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
That's crazy, man. That's a hell of a lot of views, man. Y'all need to, if y'all see y'all gonna stick this thing out and be around a while, y'all to start a LSD channel.
Yeah, we used to have one back in the day, and I think everybody lost the password too.
So it's out there somewhere. Y'all just can't get into it, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Address and the password's gone forever now.
Yeah, it's in the internet world though, somewhere.
The short-lived series LSD TV is still available out there. I don't necessarily recommend watching it, but it is out there.
It was awesome back then. Now you look back and you're like, God, I'm a dumbass. So. We had a lot of fun doing it though, so fuck it.
True.
Well, guys, we still got a few minutes. We're going to start wrapping it up though. Look, guys, before we even get any farther, I want to thank you guys for coming on here. Man,
thanks for inviting us.
Dude, when I seen the get together thing, when I seen you wrestling at Newport, I thought, oh shit, they something's going on. He didn't just come back for this one fucking match. And I kind of figured you and Dale would do something. And then when I seen Cody showed up last week at the thing, man, I've been waiting on that dude. That's the reason I wasn't going to reach out to y'all, because I didn't really know until I seen y'all actually came back as LSD. And I thought, well, hey, I guess it's fate. Now's the time to reach out, and see if you guys wanted to come on. I thank you guys so much for coming on, guys. I appreciate y'all.
Oh, appreciate having me, man. Yeah. Hell yeah. Anytime, man.
Look, guys, if let's plug anything y'all got coming up, and anything you need to plug, your YouTube channels. If you got merch out there, plug your artistry, Dale. I've seen some of that, man. I've seen some of the stuff you design. Cool shit, man.
On artwork.
Cody, Bain, anything y'all need to promote, let's just make the rounds, and everybody promote what they need to promote. But let's promote this Tuckerman show. That's
number one right now.
June 3rd.
Go ahead.
7:30 p.m. The world famous Valiant Arena in downtown Tuckerman, Arkansas. It's for the best cause we can. One of our own brothers. Anybody that can help and be there, please show up and support this man and our cause to help him out. Let's see, where else we got? I think I will be at a TV taping in Memphis the 4th. Let's see what else I got. I think I've got something. Oh, we're going to be back in Tuckerman June 17th for another event there. That just got announced. And then Catalina Wine Mixer number 3. I just got word I'm going to be involved in that somehow. So that'd be down in North Little Rock. So
Yeah.
that
Man,
selling cars. If you want to look for me anywhere, look up #9fingers and you'll find me. And yeah, that's my stuff. Cody, you got anything to promote?
Ah, man, nothing. I'm, like y'all said, I'm a ghost. I kind of just float around out in the ether, and I'm not really in the public eye anymore. I've got an idea in the works. Something me and Dale were discussing last night, actually. I'm not going to reveal it right now. But yeah, I may have something. It's not necessarily wrestling related. But you may be seeing me pop up on YouTube. If so, we'll let everybody know, and maybe come back and talk to Buster about it.
Man.
Maybe do a bullshitting with Buster or something. I got some things I'd like to talk about my singles career a little bit, outside of that time whenever LSD was gone, and I was just kind of floating around the business doing different things. And but yeah, there's I've got some things in the works, but as far as for now, I mean, I'm gonna I'm just testing the waters, as Dale's saying, dipping my toe in the wrestling business again, and seeing where that takes me. And if it's something that I feel like I'm gonna keep going, then I'll get back out there a little bit more. But as of right now, I mean, you can find me on Snapchat. That's about it. Just
Hey, put over Nikki's stuff.
What's that?
Put over Nikki's stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah. For anybody looking for custom jewelry, handmade resin jewelry, also knickknacks, tchotchkes, if you will, trinket trays, all that sort of thing. You can look for Graveyard Geek Designs on Facebook and Instagram. Custom orders are available. Go and check some of that stuff out. A lot of horror themed stuff, general just nerdiness. That's kind of the clientele. But yeah, definitely check it out. And it is available for anybody around the Pocahontas, Arkansas area, at Warehouse 20. Collectible store there in town. They are available for sale to the public. So yeah, check it out.
Sure. Yeah, Warehouse 20 is a good spot. Our buddy Norman Sarah run that. Doing good stuff. If you're a nerd in Pocahontas area, go see them too.
Absolutely.
well, I kind of jumped the gun earlier and plugged some stuff, but I'll just go through it real quick. I mean, I'm on Twitter at Deadly Dell. The YouTube, the Wrestling Archive is at Deadly Dell. Facebook, I'm like a digital creator somehow now. It flipped my shit or whatever. And send me a friend request. I think it does like a follow or whatever, so I can add you as a friend. But if not, you can just follow me, and it's just Dale Chitty, Chitty. Not shitty, motherfuckers. Chitty. Chitty, like chitty chitty bang bang. I'm on there, Facebook. I've got shit. That's probably my biggest platform, to tell you the truth. And I want to put over Uncle Filthy Network. So I've been collabing on that. And it's at Uncle Filthy. I tell him it's his channel. He's we're doing this together. So I'm like, nah, man, I'm just got a little segment, bro. This is you. But at Uncle Filthy on YouTube. Yeah, man, I don't even have I don't have Instagram or nothing anymore. That's my big, for merch. I don't have any, it's been a while, but I am on Pro Wrestling Tees. Don't make much money on their Pro Wrestling Tees /Dale or Deadly Dale. And I have the LSD logo uploaded on there, and some classic shirts like this at designs you can get on there. I get a few bucks per sale. But that's basically the only way you can get merch at this moment until we get some printed up ourselves.
Oh, we got some shirts coming for the 3rd too. So there will be a few T-shirts available at this show. So if you want to, one of the rare chances to get one nowadays.
Yeah. See, I wasn't for sure if them were going to be ready yet. So awesome.
That's where
yeah. Okay. That's about all I got. My art is just hit me up on DM me anytime on Facebook. I do any type of fucking art, but most of the time it's like t-shirt designs. I did this. I do all my own shit. It's not as good as it used to be because the tech, man, everybody can almost make their own shit on their phone. So I shouldn't be burying myself like that, but there is stuff that I can do that you can't do on your phone. I can get your resolution right, get it print ready, and even do shit you probably can't do on your phone. But that's all I got right now.
I can't do shit on my phone, man. I'll be honest with you. Scroll through the motherfucker, make a few reels, and y'all lucky we even own tonight, man. It took me about a year and a half to figure this shit out. So
you seen me? I was sitting there and I fucking was all ready, and then I didn't even push the button, whatever it's called, the backstage button.
Excuse me, Kel. Thanks for that shout out there. Thank you.
Yeah, Graveyard Geek Designs.
Dale been watching us for 15 fucking minutes, getting pissed off because we ain't brought him on yet. Not knowing he ain't fucking hit the enter studio button yet.
I heard you talking. I was like, oh shit, because he's like, we got one in here. I'm like, wait. Well, where's the others? I'm like, fuck, I am in here, ain't I? And I start scrolling. Yeah, it was all good though, man. It's been crazy. It's been a good chat. God, I can't believe we've been on here this long. It flew by.
Oh God,
man. When the conversation's good, I never seem to have enough time when the conversation's good. You know what I mean? It just flies right by. Guys, like I said before, I appreciate y'all so much. Look, I'm proud of you dudes, man. I'm thankful that I had a little hand in helping y'all come up with y'all's gimmick, man. And I'm so proud that you guys have taken it and took it to the places you have, because it could have just died when Arkansas Championship Wrestling did, but it didn't. You guys took it and y'all made it something. That's all on you guys.
We always put you over about that too. Like, we never leave you out.
No, we always blame you for the LSD gimmick.
Yeah, so always have.
I appreciate it, but you guys have made it what it's turned out to be. If I could have put that on 3 other guys, and it'd probably been dead a long time ago. But yet we're 16 years later or more, and looks like it's not only making a comeback, but I'm looking for LSD to take over Mid-South Wrestling. Period, y'all.
Yeah, I didn't even know if I'd be alive for this long, you know. Fuck.
Hey, join the crowd, man.
I'm glad. I plan on living like for a few hundred years now. I'm ready for all this AI and brain implant technology, and like I want to be like a cyborg. I want to die when I feel like it.
I want to be the Terminator, man. I guess I'm dating myself, man, but I want to be the Terminator, man.
Hell yeah. Hey, it's fixing to be fucking Terminator. We could have a whole other podcast about that shit. Don't get me down the rabbit holes on this crazy fucking conspiracy shit, bro. I'm telling you.
Bane just wants to be the Terminator just to regenerate that finger, man.
Should be growing back like Deadpool and stuff. Have a baby finger for a minute.
Guys, anytime you guys want to come back, if y'all need to come on and promote something, just hit me up, man.
Yes,
right on, man.
I try to keep the show booked a month or two even in advance. But if y'all got something you need to promote, hit me up. I'll even if it's just a few minutes, long enough to get you on to promote what you need to promote. Holler at me and I'll get y'all on. I'll get y'all some time on, guys.
Sweet.
Hell yeah, appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
Cody, same goes for you. I'm easy to find out on Facebook and shit. I know if I want to talk to you, I got to talk to Bane or Dale if I'm going to find Cody, because I ain't privy to the Bat Cave yet, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
But any of you guys, Bane, the same thing with you. If you need to promote something going on in Tuckerman or just anything, you guys just holler at me, man. I appreciate you guys. It's been my pleasure, and it's been a blast, fellas.
It has, and I can't think of a better stopping point right there. We Well, we've said it all, man, tonight anyway.
That's true.
Guys, y'all have a good night, and I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Peace.
Good night.
Thanks, brother.
All right, y'all, there it is. Buster Unmasked, episode 19. We talked to the Manitoba Maniac Leigh to begin with, and we rounded the night off with the labeled social deviants, LSD, Idle Bane, Deadly Dale, and Cody Only. Y'all heard what's going on? If you want to go see the Manitoba Maniac, go to TIWF in Trenton this Saturday night. It's going to be a big cage show. Every match, from what I understand, is going to be in a cage. You better get there early because tickets are going fast. And any of you people in Arkansas around Tuckerman, be 100% sure that you go check out MACW/ASWF in Tuckerman, Arkansas this Saturday night. It's the first ever annual Dwayne Stone Memorial Show, and all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, go to Ricky Rowland to help with his fight against cancer. Guys, I thank everybody for watching. It's been a great show. I've had a blast, and y'all know what's next. Y'all ain't got to go home, but y'all got to get the fuck out of here. Y'all take it easy, guys. Peace.